I've got it on normal. I have it on Osceola. You need to turn the mics on. She's not even looking at me. Turn on the mics. Turn the mic on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, the speaker was turned down. We just
Okay.
figured it out.
All right, no problem. All right, good morning. Do you have anyone who needs the interpreter?
We sure do. Joel Castillo Agramonte.
Okay. Do we have the interpreter? The interpreter should be on the phone. All right, let's see if we can get the interpreter on the line. I have no idea.
Okay, okay. She's sliding in. Her computer's going a little slow, but she's sliding in. She's there.
All right.
So you want to do the next person?
All right, the interpreter's having a little bit of difficulty, so let me skip this for a moment, and we'll go on to the next one.
The jail would like to address Michelle Gill first. I believe she's next on the list.
I have
Besides
Deborah.
Spanish speakers.
I have John Doe next, but who is it that you want to address?
He's
Michelle
also,
Gill?
John Doe is also Spanish.
All right, Michelle Gill.
And Your Honor, the jail has requested a mental health ROR on her for Baker Act purposes.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you're charged with trespass on property, not a structure or conveyance. Excuse me, I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I agree that even the booking report shows some issues, so I'm going to place her. I'm going to release her on her own recognizance for Baker Act purposes. She does qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent her. Thank you, ma'am.
So judges, they were mental health. Mental health.
I'm RORing her. They're going to Baker Act her from there. Osceola does it slightly different than we do. Okay, thanks. All right. Let's see. Madam Interpreter, once you're on the line, just let me know. Kevin Quinn. Morning, sir. Mr. Quinn, you were arrested on a warrant out of Osceola County, violation of probation, burglary of a conveyance. Your bond has been set at no bond. You do qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Darwin Rivera Almondar.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with tampering with evidence, possession of drug paraphernalia, and false name or ID by an arrestee. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in that matter. Additionally, you're on felony probation in 2019 CF 487, underlying charges fleeing and eluding and driving while license suspended or revoked. This is an on-view violation of probation hearing. At this time, I'm setting your bond at 0 on the violation of probation. You do qualify for the public defender on both, and I'm appointing the public defender to represent you on both. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreters on the line.
Good morning. It's nice to hear your voice.
Nice to see you too.
All right, let's go back to Castillo Agromonte. Agramonte, I'm sorry.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Buenos días, señor.
All right, sir, you've been arrested for battery and violation of a no-contact order. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case, and I find probable cause on both counts.
Señor, usted ha sido detenido, arrestado por agresión e incumplimiento de una orden de alejamiento. Yo he leído la declaración, la affidavit acusatoria, y hallo que hay causas que respaldan la acusación.
All right. On the battery, I'm setting your bond at $2,000.
En el caso de agresión, la fianza es de $2,000.
On the violation of the no-contact order, I'm setting your bond at $5,000.
En el caso de incumplimiento de la orden de no contacto o de alejamiento, la fianza es de $5,000.
Additionally, you are out on bond for a battery in case number 19 MM 4375. I am revoking your bond in that case and setting the bond at $0.
Adicionalmente, usted estaba bajo fianza en el caso de agresión 19MM4375. Yo le estoy revocando esa fianza en este momento y en ese caso usted queda detenido sin fianza por el momento.
You do qualify for the public defender on both cases, and I appoint the public defender to represent you.
Usted es elegible para el defensor público en ambos casos y se le designa el defensor público para que le represente.
Thank you.
Gracias.
All right. John Doe, also known as Antonio Andres Collazo. Good morning, sir. He also needs
Buenos días,
to...
señor.
Sir, you were charged with operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
Señora, usted se le acusó de haber manejado un vehículo motorizado sin una licencia válida de conducir.
I reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause.
Yo he repasado la affidavit acusatoria en su caso y hallo que hay causas que respaldan la acusación.
Your Honor, he does qualify for direct PTR.
Okay. Your identification has been verified, so at this time, I am going to place you on pretrial release.
Su identificación ha sido verificada y por el momento le pongo en libertad preventiva.
You do qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
Usted es elegible para el defensor público y se le designa el defensor público para que le represente.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Is there anyone else who needs the interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for now. Do we need an interpreter for Orange?
Yes, we have
All right.
a few. We'll come back.
We'll come back to you on the Orange County cases in just a minute.
Not a problem. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thanks.
Maria Sanchez de Groot. All right, sir, ma'am. Oh, there she is. Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with domestic violence battery. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. Does she qualify for PTR?
Your Honor, she does not qualify for direct PTR. She has no prior history though.
Right.
And I was able to make contact with the victim, who stated that she would like contact with her. They both live together.
All right, ma'am, I'm gonna set,
And she's not in fear.
okay. I'm gonna set your bond at $500. I will allow you to return to the scene where this occurred. I'm ordering you to have no hostile contact with the victim. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
Okay, no touching each other, you understand
Yes.
that? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
No weapons, no firearms. You do qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Cynthia Suwek. Morning, ma'am. Ms. Sawek, you were arrested and charged with DUI and knowingly driving while your license is suspended. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause on both counts. You do qualify for PTR, so I'm going to place you on PTR. However, as a condition of your pretrial release, you may not consume any alcoholic beverages. You will be subject to random testing, and you may not drive without a valid Florida driver's license. You do qualify for the Public Defender's Office, and I'm going to appoint the Public Defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, for the random testing, is that going to be random drug and alcohol or just random alcohol?
No, you can do random drug and alcohol. She has a pretty extensive history.
Okay.
All right. Jose Tolentino.
Morning.
Morning, sir. Sir, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in your case at $1,000. You may not return to the place where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim in this case, no weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup with the sheriff's assist for your personal belongings. You do qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yadiel Torres. Mr. Torres, you were arrested and charged with battery and obstructing an officer without violence. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause on both counts. I'm going to set bond on count one at $1,000. You are not allowed to return to the scene where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup for your belongings with the sheriff's assist. You also are out on PTR on case 20 CF 509. I think it's 509.
Correct, Your Honor, it's 509.
Thank you. The charges on that are petty theft, resisting an officer without violence, and burglary of an unoccupied conveyance. At this time, I'm revoking your PTR on that and setting your bond at $0. You do qualify for the Public Defender's Office, and I appoint them to represent you on both cases.
Count two stay. And then you give a bun.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stayed on the new charges, I stayed on count 2 and set 1,000 on count 1. Diego Vargas. Morning, Mr. Vargas. You have been arrested on a warrant for violation of probation. The underlying charge is domestic violence battery. Your bond has been set at no bond. You qualify for the public defender. I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. Wesley Churchill.
He refused, Your Honor.
All right, I consider that he's waived his right to appear for his initial appearance. He was charged with battery by an inmate or visitor. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond in this matter. He qualifies for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Thank you. And we have Daniel Michael Bertrand. He was a reset. Did he make it
Yes,
today?
he's still in. No, he's still in detox.
Do you want to waive his presence and go ahead with IAs, or you want him rolled?
Can we roll him? One of the PTR officers brought to my attention, though, that apparently it's 2 VOPs, but that he had, basically it's the same VOP, that he had an arrest warrant out for the VOP, but then the officer also did an on-view violation, so now it's 2 VOPs that are from the same VOP.
Okay. I can't do anything unless we go forward with the IA, so at the moment, I don't disagree with you, but I'll just roll him. I guess I can roll him until, how long's he been in detox? Why don't we stop rolling him from day to
This is
day,
his-
and I'll roll him till Tuesday in Osceola,
Okay,
okay?
okay, that's fine.
the 10th. Hopefully he'll be out by then. And we have a reset regarding Christine Bird. This is the one, there was no PC on count. Well, you were challenging PC on the petty theft state. Do you have anything additional?
I can't hear the state, Your Honor.
That's because she's not in the room.
Oh, right here.
Oh,
yes.
there you are. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't see you
Good
behind.
morning.
Yeah.
No, Your Honor, I tried to reach out to the officer. I didn't get a response, so I'd leave it to your discretion.
What's your argument about PC on the petty theft? Because she made a statement
Yes,
that
the
she knew
petty-
she knew it was stolen.
Yes, Your Honor, so my argument was there's no allegations that she took it, and there's a difference between receiving stolen property and petty theft.
Oh, that was what it was.
And the charge that we're here on.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to find no PC on the petty theft and ROR her on that count. I found PC on the others, so all those conditions remain the same. All right, and I did appoint yesterday, right? The public defender? Yeah.
You did, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And then I have Jerry Lee Thompson. He was reset because he was in the hospital. Is he here? Oh, there he is.
Yes, here, Your Honor.
Morning, sir. Mr. Thompson, you've been charged with trafficking in methamphetamines over 14 grams, possession of controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. The controlled substance that, excuse me, that is alleged is MDMA. I do find probable cause on all counts. I'm staying the bonds on these counts. You do qualify for the PD, and I'll appoint the PD to represent you. And it's provisional because you haven't filled out an affidavit yet. He's not on bond. I revoked the bond on the other case yesterday, all right? All right, sir, thank you very much. Anybody else from Osceola? All right, court's in recess in Osceola. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
On, right here, it was a no, it was a DV. I didn't get, we had no contact, and I don't understand what that was. Still trying to know what we looked for firearms.
Oh, this is a note to myself. I revoked and set it 0 on this one.
Yeah, but this one he's out, that he actually is.
No weapons, no firearms. Yeah. All right, switching to Orange County.
And Your Honor, the Spanish interpreter, Dalia Romero, is on the line.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And you were spoken Spanish. So I have one, I think I only have one, is that correct?
It should be three.
All right, so I have Juan de Jesus Nieves.
And then Martina Cruz.
That one speaks English.
Well, they said you got him on the Spanish mic.
Okay, all right.
And then the out of county one, yeah.
Baltazar?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have 3 supposedly.
Take Your Honor.
De Jesus, Martinez Cruz, and Ballot, the one that starts with a B. Those 3.
Those are the ones I have listed.
Me
Their
too.
forms say they speak English, but we'll find out.
Guess that's how it goes.
These get thrown away, right? No, they get handed back to you, sorry. I know that Orange Counties go in there, okay. All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. De Jesus Nieves, you are charged with no valid driver's license and no motor vehicle registration. I reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I find probable cause on both. He doesn't qualify for PTR, so on the no driver's license, I'm going to set bond at $250 and stay the bond on the no motor vehicle registration. He didn't fill out the affidavit for the PD, so I'm going to provisionally represent, or appoint the public defender's office and give him a chance to fill out that affidavit.
What was the bottom amount on the motor vehicle?
100.
100.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Michael Marti Cruz. This would be easier. Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with resisting an officer without violence. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, the state does have an offer for this.
Okay, what is it?
Withholding court costs, Your Honor.
Sir, the state of Florida is offering to let you plead to this charge and get what's called time served, a withhold of adjudication, and court cost. Is that something you're interested in doing?
Me interesaría, pero yo puedo pagar trabajando community service.
I'm interested, but can I pay working community service hours?
Do you, how do you make a living,
Nunca he
sir?
estado preso ni nada, mi primera vez.
I've never been in jail or anything. This is my first time.
I understand that. How do you make a living, sir?
Yo trabajo en construcción en Paysetter y en Universal Studio.
I work in construction, pay setters at Universal Studios.
Okay, I can put you on a payment plan of $10 a month. Could you pay
Sí.
that?
Sí, sí, yo lo pago, mis.
Yes, ma'am, I can pay.
So with that agreement with the court, are you interested in entering a plea?
Sí, yo hago todo.
Yes, ma'am, I will
Right.
do everything.
Your attorney, I'm appointing the public defender to represent him. Your attorney is giving you a plea form right in front of you, which I assume is in Spanish?
Yes.
All right. If you'll take a look at that, sir, for a minute. It explains the rights that you're giving up by entering this plea. Thank you. All right, sir, swear him in, please.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony shall give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? state your name for the
Yes.
record?
Michael Martí Cruz.
Michael Martí Cruz.
You can put your hand down, sir. What is your date of birth?
El 7 de septiembre del 82.
All right, Mr. Cruz, I have in my hand.
September 7,
Sorry.
82.
I'm sorry. I'll try very hard not to do that. Mr. Martí Cruz, I have in my hand a plea form in Spanish. Did you read and understand this before you signed it?
No, no, it's okay, está bien.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
All right, do you understand that by entering this plea, you're giving up the rights listed on this form, including the right to remain silent, the right to be presumed innocent until the state proves you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to trial? Do you understand that? Is that a yes?
Sí.
Yes.
Right. You're charged with resisting an officer without violence, which is a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by a maximum of 1 year. To that charge, how do you plead?
No, no, culpable, ¿verdad?
You have to
Yes.
say it to the judge, though.
How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no
Yes.
contest?
Yes.
Nope. Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Culpable.
Guilty.
All right, thank you. All right, I do find a factual basis for the plea, having read the arrest affidavit. Defense, are you stipulating to those
Yes.
facts? All right. All right, I'll accept the plea. I find he's alert and intelligent. He understands the nature of the charges against him, the consequence of entering the plea, and he's been represented by competent counsel. Any legal cause I can't pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor.
He's got 2 days?
Yes.
All right, sir, at this time, the court's going to withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days. I'll impose the mandatory court cost. You'll need to go to the clerk's office in Orange County. I'm putting you on a $10 a month payment plan. You can pay more if you want, but you have to pay a minimum of $10 a month, and I'll give you 30 days to start making those payments. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Baltasar Zacarias. Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been arrested on an out-of-county...
Good morning.
Thank you. You've been arrested on an out-of-county warrant. The underlying it's from Hillsborough County. The underlying charge is no driver's license, and the bond amount is $5,000. We will continue to hold you here for Hillsborough County to pick you up unless you bond out. All right, thank you.
Sí, pero no aceptan la fianza que estamos dando, yo no sé por qué.
I don't know why they're not accepting the bond that we're paying.
You attempted to bond? Do we know?
It takes a few hours.
Yeah. If someone has paid your bond, it can take a little while for it to go through. Okay?
Está bien,
¿Ah?
y si no pagan cuando vienen por mí, que voy a ir hasta el otro condado.
If they don't pay, how long before they come from that other county that I have to go to?
That I can't tell you, sir, all right? 72 hours? It's 72 hours. All right? Thank you. All right, Madam Interpreter, I believe that's all for the Spanish-speaking folks. Thank you very much. Have a good Sunday.
Thank you, Your Honor. You do the same.
Richard Ramirez? All right. All right, sir. You are here charged with possession of heroin, possession of cocaine with a weapon, and possession of cocaine without a weapon. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. I'm staying the bonds on that case. You're also charged with aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer with great bodily harm, aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting an officer with violence, resisting an officer without violence. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause on all counts and stay the bonds on all of those. And lastly, you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause on that case, stay the bonds on all counts. You do qualify for the public defender on all counts, and I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, you mentioned that you were staying the bonds. Generally, the ag assault comes in no bond, or does it have a bond?
It's $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Normally,
thinking-
sometimes they come in no bond, and I wanted to make
Right,
sure
yeah,
that.
no, I was thinking, no, it had a bond, yeah, all right, thank you, sir. I'm a little sleep deprived from all the calls, but, you know. All right, gotta make sure. Okay, Pablo Burgos, is that you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, sir, you are charged with warrant failing to appear. Underlying charge is trespass on property other than a structure. The bond on that warrant is $500. You're also arrested and charged with trespass on property after warning. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. I'm staying the bond on that case. And, let's see. I'm sorry. I'm reducing the bond to $100 on that case, on the new trespass. You do qualify for the public defender on both cases, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
All right, so,
So you have $600 total in bonds. Is it Bilo Jallo?
Billo Jallo.
Bilo
Junior
Jallo. All right. Mr. Jallo, good morning. You have been charged with domestic, or petty theft, and resisting an officer without violence on new offenses. I've reviewed the affidavit in the case. I do find probable cause, and I stay the bonds on both of those. Additionally, you're out on bond on a domestic violence battery charge in case 2020 MM 1558. In that case, I'm revoking your bond and setting the bond at $0. You qualify for the public defender. I appoint the public defender to represent you on both cases. Thank you, sir.
You know, you don't have a bond.
Jonathan Willis. Good morning, Mr. Willis.
good morning.
Mr. Willis, you are charged with trespass on property after warning. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. I'm setting the bond at $100 on that case. Additionally, you are on bond in case 2020 CF 1063 for possession of firearm or ammunition by a convicted felon and carrying a concealed firearm. Bond is revoked in that case and set at $0. You do qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent you on both cases. Thank you, sir. Daniel Fink?
You refuse, Your Honor.
All right, I'm considering that Mr. Fink has waived his appearance at first appearances. He was arrested on an out-of-county warrant for violation of probation out of Osceola County. He's set at no bond. He does qualify for the public defend, well, he may qualify for the public defender, so I'm provisionally appointing the public defender to represent him. I think it's actually two warrants, 19 CF 1213. No, it's the same warrant. Grand theft and possession of drug paraphernalia. So I'll provisionally appoint, subject to him ever filling out an affidavit. He refused. Brandon James?
Yes, this is a reset from yesterday from the
Yes.
probable cause challenge on the Burke dwelling. The state's provided me with an unsworn email, so I would argue that there's still no probable cause because this is an unsworn affidavit.
State?
Your Honor, I was told that it would take the officers a couple days to get a sworn affidavit. I do have the email from them sending me what they sent me, and that's all I have as of now, but there's no reason to question their credibility as to whether it's sworn or not.
Well, I took another look at the arrest affidavit on this one. I have to agree, the unsworn email is not permitted for the court to find. It's not that I'm questioning the credibility, I just can't use it for PC.
I understand.
But there is a line in the original arrest affidavit that says, Kimberly said, it's towards the middle, Brandon knocked on the door multiple times and attempted to open the door multiple times. Why does that not constitute attempted burglary?
Because there's no intent that he intended to commit a crime therein.
Response?
That's a question more that it's for a jury to decide. Probable cause is not that high of a standard, Your Honor.
Yeah, but I have to have something. I agree with the,
And I'd like to add, Your Honor, that the case does make mention to another case that was prior to in the day, which is, we do have sworn affidavit for that case, and I can point the court into that direction.
I'm gonna, well, I'll address that case. Doesn't that case come up later this morning? Or he's already been arrested on that one?
I don't know which one we're talking about.
There's-
We found probable cause on almost on everything but the burglary yesterday.
Right, so it's just the attempted burglary. I'm not finding probable cause on ordering him released on that one.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. He's released on count 1, attempted burglary of dwelling.
So you didn't find PC?
I did not find PC on that one. The rest of them I did find PC on. Because, you know, yesterday I held him on a bunch of charges. Corey Harris. Mr. Harris, you have been arrested on a violation of probation. The underlying charges of violation of domestic violence injunction. Your bond in this case is set at 0. Additionally, you were charged with possession of cannabis under 20 grams and false information to a law enforcement officer during an investigation. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I did find probable cause on both counts. On the possession of cannabis under 20 grams, I'm reducing the bond to $250. He does qualify for the public defender on both cases, and I appoint the public defender to represent him. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Harry Brokenbrook. All right, I consider he's waived his right to his IA. So at this time, he's charged with introduction of contraband in a state facility, possession of cannabis over 20 grams, and dating violence assault. Viewed the affidavit. I find probable cause on all 3 counts. On the assault, the dating violence, I'm going to set bond at $1,000 and stay the bonds on the other 2 counts. He may not return to the scene where this occurred. He may have no contact with the victim, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. If he needs a one-time pickup with a sheriff's assist, I will give him that. He does qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent him.
Your Honor, did you set a bond on the assault? Okay.
1,000,
Okay, thank you.
sure. Are you Louis Cologne?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Cologne, you were charged with battery on a person 65 years of age or older. I did review the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. Is there anyone here on this case? No. All right, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 on that case. You may not return to the scene where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim, no weapons, no firearms. Do you live there, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll give you a one-time pickup order for your belongings with the sheriff's assist. You do qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you,
you.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
She knew y'all did no contact paperwork?
Has anybody signed off on their no contact orders?
Yeah, we supposed to,
I know Judge Adams made some changes. I'm not 100% sure what they were. I know that I'm signing no contact orders now.
and they supposed to sign too. We supposed to be kind of ready to
It's been a few months since it seems like everything's different.
do. the person.
Judge Adams told me this last week, but honestly, I was in the middle of a trial, so I kind of half caught what she was saying. We changed the no contact order to match what it looks like in Osceola.
Oh, okay.
So it may be that you all don't have the new form.
Oh, man, she's doing them now. Sorry, you guys. And the guy, who we had, just two was a no contact, or just the one? Just come, can we get him to, keep him up here so I can get him to sign one?
Okay, so they're coming with the no contact?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's a little confusion because we changed the no contact order. All right. All right, are you Kenmela Hester?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you've been charged with aggravated assault with a weapon and domestic violence battery. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause on both counts. I'm setting bond on count 1 at $1,500 and bond on count 2 at $1,000. You may not return to the place where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time pickup with the sheriff's assist. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I am aware of the fact that she qualifies for PTR, but this case involved a weapon, a
Yes.
knife, so.
No, I was going to ask that the other party involved is out there. I didn't know if you wanted to do them both at the same time and inquire about contact.
I'm not letting them have contact.
Okay.
I can inquire about who actually needs to live in that house. If you want to bring, yes, ma'am?
It's my house.
It's your house?
Yes,
Is
I'll-
it your name on the lease?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to allow you to return to the scene where this occurred.
Ma'am, he has my key, my house key. That's how he was able to enter into my house yesterday, because he has the key. My
Hold on,
mom.
hold on. You need to tell your lawyer this. Everything you're saying is being recorded, and you're sliding dangerously close to discussing the facts of the case, which is never a good idea without speaking to counsel first. I can order you to be allowed to return to the property, and I'm doing that now. You still can't have any contact with him. I don't think the two of you ought to be in the same room together. I'll deal with him in just a second. If he has your key and it's your house, I'll order him to return the key to you, all right?
So just maintain separate residence?
They are to maintain a separate residence, no contact, no weapons, no firearms.
Oh, she don't have to go back one time?
She can go, no, she can go, she doesn't need that because it's her house. All right. All right, she does qualify for the public defender. I'm appointing the public defender to represent her. Let's get Mr. Porter out here so I can chat with him for a minute. Are you Rico Porter?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Porter, you were arrested and charged with child abuse and battery. Both counts are domestic violence counts. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm setting bond on count 1, the child abuse, at $1,500, and count 2, the domestic violence battery, at $1,000. You may not return to the place where this occurred. If you have, it's my understanding that it's, I forgot her name already, Ms. Harris? No.
Yes.
It's her house, is that correct?
Both,
Whose name's on the lease? Hers?
yeah.
Okay. You may not return to the place where this occurred. You may have no contact with with her in this case. She's been ordered to have no contact with you. If you have a key to that place, you need to give it back to her. I will give you a one-time pickup for all your personal belongings with the sheriff's assist. No weapons, no firearms. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. All right, thank you, sir. Kevrit Sales. He's mental health, okay. Any reasonable chance that he's going to be able to come, or does anybody know? Do you- All right, so I'll roll him to tomorrow. Okay.
I have two, but no contacts on this one.
Correct.
Get Mr. Cologne.
All right, so we have Ms. Hester and Ms. Porter's.
We need to sign it, yeah, we just need
All right.
to sign it.
I'll just go ahead and sign them and then have, that way you don't have to chase me, just them. All right. Where would you like me to make this pile, right here?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, thanks. All right. All right, all right, so Keverett, Sales Prude, I'm rolling till tomorrow for IAs. I'll hand the whole packet to you. Do I still need to give this back?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you give that part of it back to them.
To them?
So let's see.
All right, are you is it Supreme?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ms. Supreme, you were charged with false imprisonment, dating violence, tampering with a witness to hinder communication to a Leo, and battery dating violence. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bonds as followed on on the battery dating violence, I'm going to set it at $1,000. And then on the false imprisonment, $100, tampering with witness, $100. You may not return to the place where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim in this case, no weapons, no firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
I will give you a one-time pickup for your personal belongings with the sheriff's assist if you need it. all
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
You do qualify for the public defender, and I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
This is for you.
Hold on, Ms. Thompson, you gave the one was,
It's 1,000 on the battery, and 100 on the other two counts. So, now I have LaConstance Thomas. Is that you, ma'am? Are you Miss Thomas?
yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Sir, what's your name?
LaConstance Thomas.
No, I'm talking to him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This can be a little confusing. Yes, sir, what's your name?
Michael Williams, ma'am.
Are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you here to speak about Ms. Thomas's release?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is it that you want to tell me?
She is no threat. She got 3 kids. She got 2 jobs, and I think she need a bond.
She need what?
I think she need a bond.
Oh, a bond, okay. Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
Do you want to have contact with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Stay, you have any questions?
No, I didn't have any questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, I did review the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. Ma'am, you qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to place you on the pretrial release program. No hostile contact with the victim. You understand what I mean by hostile contact?
Yes, ma'am.
That means physical contact, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
No weapons, no firearms. You can go back home.
All right,
And
thank you.
hopefully, we won't see you again, okay?
Thank you. All right.
You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Yes, sir?
Do I gotta place a bond for her?
No, sir, I put her on pretrial release. It'll be a few hours, but she'll be released on a program where she just has to report.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That one's yours. I'm drowning in paperwork. All right. Elisa Barber?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ms. Barber, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set the bond in that case at $1,000. You may not return to the place where this occurred. You may not have any contact with a victim in that case. No weapons, no firearms, no drugs, no alcohol. Additionally, you are on bond on 2020 MM 1228, which was transferred to 2020 CF 3120. At this time, I'm revoking the bond in that case and setting bond at no bond. You do qualify for the public defender on both cases, and I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. Good luck to you, ma'am. Thanks. Sade Barkley? Oh. I'm sorry.
Ms. Hess.
Good morning, Ms. Barkley.
Good morning.
All right. Ms. Barkley, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in your case at $1,000. The place where this occurred, is that where you live?
Yes, ma'am.
Whose name is on the lease?
My name.
Is it your apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it an apartment or a house?
It's a duplex.
Okay. Is Mr. Johnson's name anywhere on there?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right. Like I said, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. I'm going to order you to have no contact with Mr. Johnson. I will allow you to return since it's your home. No weapons, no firearms. You do qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm so confused at this point. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
No, you can laugh at me, I don't care. Yeah. I laugh at myself sometimes. Sometimes it's all funny. All right. Saeed English. All right. Good morning, Mr. English.
Good morning, ma'am.
Mr. English, you were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause. Ma'am, what is your name?
Christelle Bernache.
And are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you want to be heard on the subject of Mr. English's bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What would you like to tell me?
That he's no threat. He didn't lay no hands on me. He has a 3-month-old child. He's the only one that's providing. He's the one that's providing the income.
Are you two living together?
Yes, ma'am.
And you want to continue living with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And if there's another incident, what are you going to do?
Then I would just excuse myself.
State, you have any questions?
No, I do not, Your Honor. One question. If he were to put his hands on you, would you call 911?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
already
Mr.
qualifies
English. I'm going to, you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. I'm going to order you to have no hostile contact with Ms. Bernache. You can return to the place where you all were living together. If you come back, it's a violation of this pretrial release. You understand that? You'll be sitting on a no bond order, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
No weapons, no firearms. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you both.
Thank you.
Kira Kelly.
Behavior, but her victim is here.
All right, just step back 1 second. She isn't here because of behavior?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Good morning, and your name is?
Kevon Brown.
All right, are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Brown, what did you want to tell me?
I just came so she can come home. Like, it wasn't really like a problem or anything.
So you don't want her told not to have contact with you?
No, we have contact. We get an apartment next week.
Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
State, you have any questions?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so she refused to, well, her behavior kept her from coming here today, so I can't do anything about her case. I'm going to roll it till tomorrow, and we'll let the judge who handles these things tomorrow deal with it.
I have a question.
Yes, sir?
I go to CDL school, and I leave tonight.
You can go ahead and go. There's a record of what you said in court today.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
All right, thank you. Walter Richardson? Are you
Yes,
Walter
ma'am.
Richardson?
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
Walter Richardson.
All right. Morning, sir. Mr. Richardson, you were arrested.
I'm sorry.
You were arrested and charged with domestic violence battery.
Yes, ma'am.
I did review the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause. Yes, ma'am, and your name is?
John A. Jackson Braxton.
Oh,
Are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what do you want to tell me?
I don't feel threatened by him. I think it was just a misunderstanding by people that was watching us from the outside. As of now, he is the only provider. We have 4 kids, 6 kids in total, but 4 kids together. At the moment, because we just came from Merlin, we staying in the hotel, so if he get locked up, we're going to be homeless. So I'm just here to speak on his behalf to get him home.
State, you have any questions?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, if there's another incident, what do you intend on doing? If he puts his hands on you?
Well, this never happened, so, but if it does happen, I will call the police, and 9 times out of 10, I will just go back to Merlin.
Okay. All right, he does qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place him on the pretrial release program. Sir, I'm ordering you to have no hostile contact with her. No hitting, touching, pushing.
Okay, so that means I can be around her though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no weapons, no firearms. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Gino Torres.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Torres, you are charged with domestic violence battery and criminal mischief. I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause on both counts. On the domestic violence battery, I'm setting bond. I'm setting bond at $5,000. I'm staying the bond at $250 on the criminal mischief. You may not return to the place where this occurred. You may have no contact of any kind with this victim. No weapons, no firearms. I will give you a one-time sheriff's assist to pick up your personal belongings. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. Shahara Saf?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Shahara Zaf.
Shahara
Zaf.
Saf, all right. All right, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Still morning.
Good afternoon.
You have been charged with domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the affidavit, oh, thank you. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. Sir, what is your name?
Steven Zaff.
And are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you here to talk about bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell me, sir?
She's an amazing mother. She homeschools our child. She is no threat to anyone, and it was just a big, loud argument, that's all. So I want her, released to the house, please.
State, you have any questions?
No, Your Honor, I'd just like to make note that there was a child involved that got in the middle of the confrontation, so if you could take note of that.
I did.
He's here as well, if you would like him to speak.
No, he's underage. Thank
Okay.
you. Defense, you have any questions?
No, Your Honor. I will note that she would qualify for PTR if you allow contact, so I would be asking for a pretrial release if you allow contact.
Is that the reason she's not qualified? You weren't, so does she qualify for PTR? All right. Okay, I'll place you on the pretrial release program, ma'am.
Okay.
No hostile contact. That means no physical altercations, all right? No weapons, no firearms, no alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Donald Alsey refused.
All right, since Mr. Alsey refused, I'm going to find that he's waived his right to his first appearance. He was arrested on a warrant, probable cause found on the warrant, and bond was set at $7,500. I'm going to stay the bond in that case. I'll provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent him, subject to him filling out an affidavit, since he refused to do that too. Donnell Cooper?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Cooper, you are charged with burglary of a dwelling, criminal mischief over $200, under $1,000, and trespass in dwelling after warning. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in this case. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
At the rate of the burglary with dwelling, I was trying to figure out when it was a big.
So you're being recorded, so anything you say about your case can be used against you. It's not a good idea to talk about the facts of the case.
Not today.
All right? Thank you.
Please stop.
All right, you're done, sir.
Serious. Tell your attorney.
Shamilis David?
Shamaus.
Shamalis, okay. All right, sir. You were arrested on a new law affidavit, burglary of a structure, and grand theft. Bonds in those cases have been set at $3,500 and $150, and I'm going to stay the bond in those cases. I do find probable cause, obviously. Petty theft is another new charge. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause, stay the bond at $250. Additionally, you're on bond on 2020 CF 1524 for burglary of a structure. I'm revoking the bond in that case and setting bond at 0. You do qualify for the public defender on all cases, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. I'm
Thanks.
sorry, did I miss another one?
Yeah, there's a
Oh, I'm
warrant.
sorry, I missed the big one, sorry. You were arrested on armed burglary of a structure with a firearm, armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm, grand theft third degree with a firearm, grand theft third degree, and criminal mischief. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. No, actually, that was the warrant. Yeah. I'm staying the no bond on count 1, armed burglary of a structure with a firearm, setting bonds as follows on the other counts. On the armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm, bond is set at $10,000. On the grand theft third degree with a firearm, bond is set at $2,500. Grand theft third degree, bond is set at $1,500. And on criminal mischief, bond is set at $100. Thank you, sir. Eric Ford?
Yes.
Morning, Mr. Ford, or good afternoon, actually.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Ford, you were arrested on a warrant for fleeing and eluding. I reviewed the warrant. I do find probable cause, as did the judge who signed the warrant. And I'm setting bond on that one on $2,500, at $2,500, sorry. Additionally, there's a second case. Does he have 3 of them? Yeah. There's a second fleeing and eluding,
No.
or is that the same one? That's the,
The warrant is the fleeing and eluding, and then when they arrested him on the
when they do
warrant,
this.
he got a resisting without violence and a possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
okay. So that's what I thought was happening. but
Right.
I hate when they do that. All right. Possession of firearm, the other charge you have is possession of firearm by a convicted felon and resisting an officer without violence. I did review the affidavits in those cases. I find probable cause, and I'm staying the bonds on those cases. You qualify for the public defender on both cases, and I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. Is he still got an out-of-county hold for Indian River? Additionally, you have a detainer for Indian River County. I don't know what that one's about. All right. Thank you, sir. Did I appoint the PD? Yeah. Did I appoint the PD? I did, okay. Sometimes I forget to say it. Frank Gonzalez?
I had Bruce Glover.
You didn't have Bruce Glover on?
I have him next. I can switch and do Mr. Glover first. It's no. All right, Bruce Glover. Good afternoon, sir. Mr.
Good
Glover,
afternoon.
you were arrested and charged with tampering with physical evidence, trespass on property after warning, and open container. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm setting bonds as followed. On the tampering with physical evidence, $500. On the trespass, $250. And on the open container, $100. You do qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
What about,
You can't plea your case.
Frank Gonzalez? Is that you, sir? All right. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Gonzalez, you were arrested and charged with possession of fentanyl and petty theft. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in your case. You do qualify for the public defender, so I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
Sterling
All right, I'm finding that Mr. Green has waived his right to initial appearance by refusing to appear. He was charged with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery with great bodily harm. I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I find probable cause on both counts. I'm continuing to hold him on a no bond status on the attempted second-degree murder and staying the bond at $10,000 on the ag battery. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent him due to the severity of the crimes, but he needs to fill out the affidavit.
Yes.
Claudia Hodge bonded.
All right, thank you. Would that make you Mr. Howard?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Mr. Howard, you were arrested and charged with fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond at $2,500 in this case. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your he qualifies for pretrial release. Would you be inclined to release him on pretrial release?
I don't usually on these fleeing and eluding. Let me look at his record again. Yeah, he's got prior fleeing and eluding. That's why I didn't go with the release. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
that, but your turn.
All right. Can you pronounce your last name for me?
Olszewski.
Olszewski. All right, Mr. Olszewski, good afternoon. You were charged with fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer and driving while license suspended. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause on both counts. I'm going to set bond on the fleeing and eluding at $2,500 and on the driving while license suspended at $500. You do qualify for the public defender, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
What was the bond on the first one, Your Honor?
$2,500.
Thank you.
Are you Allegra Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ms. Sanders, you're charged with armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm, grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, grand theft, third degree with a firearm, possession of firearm in the commission of a felony, and possession of firearm by a convicted felon. I reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bonds as follows. On the armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm, I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. On the grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. On the grand theft with a firearm at $1,500. Possession of firearm in the commission of a felony, I'll leave that at $150. Possession of firearm by a convicted felon, that one is set at $2,000. Did you qualify for the public defender? I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. I thought it was a house when you told me, so that's different.
Okay.
But you're good.
Kenneth, is it Says?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Says, you are charged with burglary of a conveyance and grand theft third degree. On that case, I reviewed the affidavit and I do find probable cause. I'm staying the bonds in that case. Additionally, you were arrested on a warrant for failing to appear. The underlying charge is grand theft third degree. Bond in that warrant has been set at no bond.
Judge, on the first one, it had conditions on it, no return to the scene of contact.
The
First, yes, if you go to the next.
to the warrant, yeah. I stayed the bonds and all of the conditions of the warrant on the first one, the burglary of a conveyance and the grand theft. You do qualify for the public defender on all cases, and I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Billy Jason, felony behavior.
You want me to go ahead with his IA or roll it?
Go ahead and go with this. It's a no valid.
Okay.
I'd be asking for ROR since it's a nonviolent misdemeanor.
And he would have gotten that had he not refused to appear, and through his behavior, it leads me to believe that we might have some difficulty in getting him to comply with court orders. So I did review the affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set his bond at $250. He's refused to fill out the affidavit, so I'll provisionally appoint the PD subject to him filling out the affidavit.
Do you want to plea? Is that what we're doing?
Are you Mr. Bellamy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing, miss?
I'm having a good day. How about you? All right, sir. You're charged with trespass on property after warning an open container. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to order you released on the pretrial release program. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, I do have an offer for this case, if you'd like to resolve. It
Okay.
would be an adjudication of guilt, court costs, no return to scene. In exchange, I'd no process the open container.
He does not want to accept the state's offer at this
No
time.
problem.
Pretrial release. You'll get
All right,
released
sir.
today.
Thanks. Yes, ma'am. Just pretrial release, yeah. Are you Mr. Green?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Green, you are charged with trespass on property after warning.
Yes.
I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bond in that case at $100.
Okay.
However, you're on bond on 2020 MM 426 out of Osceola County.
Okay.
Battery and assault. In that case, I'm revoking your bond and setting it at no bond.
Okay.
You qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
Okay, thank you.
Do you understand?
What's that? It's the most favorable reaction I've ever gotten from someone saying their bond's been revoked.
He's military veteran. You guys might want to look at
He's been flagged.
Veterans Court for him.
Yeah.
All right, are you Mr. Hoff?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
All right. You're charged with possession of, I appreciate the apology, you're charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're going to get a court date when you get released. Make sure you go to that court date.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, thank you.
So next up is William Leroy, I believe.
That's who I have.
Good afternoon, Mr. Leroy. Mr. Leroy, you're charged with trespass on property after warning. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. All right, I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Do you know what pretrial release is? Do you have an offer for him?
Yeah, I heard of it. I don't think I've ever had it before, but I heard of it.
Okay, hold on.
It'd be withhold court costs, no return to scene.
State's offering to let you plead to the charge, withhold time served and court cost.
I'd like to resolve this case.
Okay. I'm sorry?
No.
This ain't my first rodeo. Yeah. Sorry. I have to have some entertainment during the. I covered for him, and he was he's always here. Thank you, ma'am. All right, can we place him under oath, please?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony shall give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
All right, sir, state your name and your date of birth, please.
William James Leroy Jr., 4557.
All right, Mr. Leroy, you're pleading to trespass after warning. Is that a first-degree felony, first-degree misdemeanor, or second?
Depends on how it's charged.
Yeah, it's either a first or second-degree
Yeah.
misdemeanor, which means it's either 1 year or 60 days maximum. I have in my hand a plea form. Did you've pled to this type of charge before? Are you familiar with this plea form? Mr. Leroy, are you familiar with this plea form?
Yeah.
Is that your signature on there?
Yeah.
You understand you're giving up the right to remain silent, to be presumed
yes.
innocent, the right to a trial. You understand all that?
Yep.
You stipulated to the facts in the
Yes.
affidavit, so I do find that there is a factual basis for the plea. Sir, to the charge of trespass after warning, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find you alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, the consequence of entering your plea, and the rights you're giving up by entering this plea. And you've been represented by competent counsel. Any legal reason I can't pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, I'm withholding adjudication, sentencing you to 2 days in the jail with credit for 2 days. I'll reduce all the mandatory court costs and fines to a civil judgment. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck to you.
You're good now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Jesus Marquez.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, you were charged with trespass, failing to leave property after ordered by the owner. I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bond at $100. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. Richard Moore.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Moore, how are you today?
I've had better days.
All right, Mr. Moore, you're charged with trespass.
Yes, ma'am.
I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause.
I'm guilty.
So do you want to enter a plea? I'll give you
Ma'am.
time served to be under, I'll make the offer, time served, and I'll reduce his cost to a civil judgment.
Sure.
Do you want to go ahead and enter a plea to time served?
What, should I enter adjudicated guilty or?
I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to time served, and
Okay.
there's court costs, which I'll reduce to a civil judgment.
Okay, how much I owe the court?
I'll reduce them to a civil judgment. If you win the lottery, you'll need to pay it, okay?
So you're gonna waive the court costs for now?
Basically,
For
yeah.
now?
Unless you win the lottery, and then we have a civil judgment.
If I win the lottery, I'll live right here. I don't know. I never want to be here.
That would be a poor choice.
Yeah,
Mr. Moore.
that's what I made, a poor choice.
So do you want to enter the plea?
Oh, God, Lord help me.
You don't have to. I can release you on PTR.
She
Well,
can release you and you can decide later.
You want to do that?
what's that?
I can release you on pretrial release, and you can decide later.
No, I'm guilty.
Okay.
I'm guilty. There's no doubt about that. It was my own fault. Stupid. I'm so embarrassed.
It's a refreshing attitude.
I'm so embarrassed, I don't know what to do.
Oh, we all do things that aren't too smart sometimes, sir. It's a refreshing attitude.
No, I'm so embarrassed. I apologize, ladies.
All right, let's swear him in.
Raise your
Now,
right
now what
hand.
do I do?
Pay attention.
Raise
They're
your
gonna
right
ask you
hand.
questions.
Do you swear affirm the testimony shall give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, tell me your name and your date of birth, please.
Richard Austin Moore. I'm a local man. Lived here since 1954. I live on Social Security, $1,100 a month. I was evicted from my residence. I do have a job pending.
Okay.
My date of birth is May 26, 1947.
All right, Mr. Moore, this plea form that I have in my hand, did you sign it?
Did I?
You did. This is the form you
Is
just
that the one
signed.
you gave me?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the one we just had.
This is, okay, yes, ma'am.
All right, you're not, if you enter this plea, you don't get a trial, you're not presumed to be innocent. I just accept the plea and your sentence, do you understand that? And you
Yeah,
give up all
please
these
do.
rights.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Yes, ma'am, I'm guilty.
All right. Well, you're charged with trespass, simple trespass, which I believe is a second-degree misdemeanor with a maximum sentence of 60 days. So to that charge, how do you plead?
Oh, you gonna,
You enter the plea, guilty, not
Guilty.
All right, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit, and I assume you're stipulating
Yes,
to the
Your
facts? All right. All right, sir, I'll accept your plea. I find you're alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, and you've been represented, the consequences of entering your plea, and you've been represented by competent counsel. Any legal reason I can't sentence him?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, the court is going to withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I'm reducing all court costs to a civil judgment. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck to you, sir.
Nope, you don't have to pay. You're gonna be
You're done.
sentenced. Go that way.
Good luck to you.
thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Y'all have a great day. I apologize.
No problem. All right, are you Carlos Hernandez?
That's me.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant. The underlying charge is trespass, and your bond was set at $500. The warrant's out of Volusia County. So they'll hold you for 72 hours, see if Volusia County picks you up, or you can bond out. Thank you. And Timothy Irving?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Irving, you're here on an out-of-county warrant for petty theft. Your bond's been set at no bond. And it's out of Seminole County. So again, we'll hold you for 72 hours for them to pick you up. All right? Or 24 hours? 24 hours. All right? Thank you.
Yeah, they'll bring you back to court.
Romance Faircloth.
Your Honor, this was a reset yesterday from the, my PC challenge on the aggravated battery on a pregnant person.
State, you got anything on the pregnant person?
I did, but it's also an unsworn statement. It's the same thing, Your Honor. It takes them a couple days to get me a sworn statement, so that's
Yeah.
all I have.
All right, I'm going to find there is no PC on the aggravated battery on a pregnant person. So she's ROR'd on that one. Bond remains at 1,000 on the other one, and I appointed the PD. I'm sorry, why do I keep referring to, it's he, not she. Sorry.
Previous conditions remain.
Previous conditions remain, previous bond remains. Public defender has been appointed to represent you. All
So
right,
now your
thank you,
bond
sir.
is only 1,000. You can bond out now.
Okay. What about the
Once you bond out, then Polk will come pick you up. There's nothing I can do about that.
Pronounce your last name for me again.
Gouvernement?
Gouvernement. All right, this one, I know I ordered this one reset. I don't know if I got an amended affidavit or if I reread the affidavit in this case.
The state provided me, did you give the judge a copy yet?
I have it right here, Your Honor. May I approach?
Yes. I also reread the original affidavit, and there is probable cause on both counts. It was just, I don't know what I was thinking yesterday.
I took a step, I was unsure about that one too. I wanted to stay on
Thank
a
you.
factual basis, so then you did this, okay.
And I am going to add this supplemental report, which I think spells out
It does,
what
Your Honor.
is in very shorthand form.
The officer did apologize. He understood that it was just conclusions.
Not his best performance ever, but I do believe there is probable cause on both counts. So on the larceny of grand theft firearm, I'm going to set bond at $5,000. On the burglary of a dwelling or structure with a conveyance armed, I'm going to set bond at $10,000. He does qualify for the public defender. Oh, and as a condition of bond, no weapons, no firearms. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent him. I think I did it yesterday, but if not, I'm doing it today. All right, thank y'all very much. Nicole McKelly.
Refuse.
All right, I'm going to find she waived her right to first appearance. She's charged with aggravated battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. Stay the bond in that case. I'll provisionally appoint the PD, but she's got to fill out an affidavit.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Joseph Fenwick.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Fenwick, you were arrested on a violation of probation. The underlying charge is robbery and battery on a person 65 years or older. Your bond has been set at no bond. You do qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Oops. Joshua McNeil?
Yeah.
All right, good afternoon, sir. Mr. McNeil, you are here on a violation of probation where the bond was set at $1,000. That's 19 CF 7517.
Judge, they did a bond correction on the top, so it's a no bond, it's an only VOP.
All right, so it's a no bond.
Because it's an only VOP.
All right.
They did a correction. Yes,
Bond
sir.
set at zero, okay. It was $1,000, it's now been set at zero, because it's an on-view violation of probation. Then on 19 CF 9284, you're here on a violation of probation, bond set at zero. And 19 CF 7516, violation of probation, bond set at zero. And 2020 MM 1864, battery. It's the new law violation that's causing the, I think it's causing the VOPs. In any case, I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond at $500, no contact with the victim, no return to the place where that occurred, no weapons, no firearms. You do qualify for the public defender on all of your cases, and I'm appointing the public defender to represent you on all the cases. Thank you. I did find PC on the on-view, yeah. Alicia Story? All right, I'm going to find she waived her right to her first appearance by refusing to come. She's arrested on a violation of probation warrant, possession of a controlled substance. Bond is set at no bond. I'll provisionally appoint the public defender pending her filling out the affidavit. Kyle Ferretti?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Ferretti, you were charged with soliciting without a permit. I did review the affidavit. I do find probable cause. State you have an offer on this.
Withhold, Your Honor.
Withhold time served. I'll reduce his cost to a civil judgment. You want to plea or you want to set a bond?
He wants to resolve his case.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, can you state your name and your date of birth for me, please?
Kyle Ferretti, 6/16/77.
You can put your hand down. All right, thanks. Mr. Ferretti, you're charged with soliciting without a permit, second-degree misdemeanor, 60-day, no, it's a city ordinance, so, yeah, it's a
60
second-degree.
days,
60-day max.
City ordinances are all M2s.
All right, sir, the deputy is handing me a written plea form. Do you understand that you're giving up all the rights on this plea form?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
they include the right to remain silent, the right to be presumed innocent, the right to a jury trial. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
You stipulating to the facts in the affidavit? All right, so I do find a factual basis. Sir, to the charge of soliciting without a permit, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find you're alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, the consequence of entering the plea, and you've been represented by competent counsel. Any legal reason I can't pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, the court is going to withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I'm reducing your court cost to a civil judgment. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Are you Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Jones, you don't qualify for the public defender, but you were charged with having an open container of alcohol.
Uh-huh.
I'll make you an offer from the bench. which is time served, court cost.
All right.
Or let me see. You don't have to enter the plea. I can set a bond if you don't want to. I'm just making you the offer if you want to plea today. It's up to you.
Yes, I want to resolve it.
You want to resolve it? Okay. There's a plea form that's being handed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how much is the total for him?
No.
223? Okay, I'll ask you. I probably will. All right, Mr. Jones, the total court costs in this case are $223. I can't waive your court costs because you don't qualify for the PD. So how long would it take you to pay those off? Do you need a payment plan?
For how much?
$223.
Yeah. Take one.
If I give you 30 days, can you pay it, or 60 days?
Yes.
60 days?
Yes.
All right, let's swear him in. I'll give him 60 days to pay it.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony shall give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, sir, state your name and your date of birth, please.
Tyree Jones, 2376.
All right, Mr. Jones, you're charged with open container, second-degree misdemeanor, maximum sentence, 60 days. I have in my hand a plea form. Did you sign this?
Yes.
All right, do you understand that by entering a plea in this case, you give up all the rights that are listed in this form, which include the right to remain silent, the right to be presumed innocent and have the state prove you're guilty, and the right to have a jury trial? You understand you're giving up all those rights by entering this plea?
Yes.
Do you stipulate that you had an open container of alcohol in public?
Yes.
All right, I do find a factual basis for the plea. To the charge of open container, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find you alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, the consequence of entering your plea, and the rights you're giving up by entering the plea. You also, I should have asked you this before, you're waiving your right to have an attorney represent you at this. Is that clear to you? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right, sir. At this time, the court is going to withhold adjudication. I'm going to sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Court costs are $223. I'll give you 60 days to pay those. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck to you. You're all done?
All right.
Thanks. You pay through the clerk of the court. And Carl Neal.
Mental health, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll roll him until tomorrow. And that, I believe, concludes initial appearances for today. Court is in recess.
He does not, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Aponte. You're charged.
Good morning, Your Honor. The Spanish interpreter is on the line.
Okay. Sir, do you need an interpreter?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, sir, you're charged with battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm setting the bond at $1,000, ordering you not to return to the
Your Honor.
scene. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Did somebody say, Your Honor?
The jail has, yes, I did. The jail has requested that he be released on a mental health ROR so that they can refer him to be Baker acted.
Anyone there from corrections?
Yes, Your Honor. He was evaluated and by our mental health counselor, and they advised that he would be being Baker acted.
Okay. I'll release him on a mental health ROR, no contact with the victim in this case, no return to the scene. Understanding is he's being Baker acted. He qualifies for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Thank you. Who do you have that needs an interpreter?
Juan Arias Mira,
All right.
as well as,
Let's get Mr. Arias Mira up here. Arias Media. Okay. I'm sorry, State and PD, you need to announce your presence for the record.
Stephanie Griffin for the state.
Marcia Sampson for the Public Defender's Office.
All right, thank you. And Madam Interpreter, are you still on the line?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. If you'll announce yourself for the record.
Flavia Rodriguez, State Certified Court Interpreter, not sworn in today.
Not sworn in?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, can you raise your right hand?
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Spanish to English, from English to Spanish, to the best of your ability?
I do, to the best of my ability, Flavia Rodriguez, State Certified Court Interpreter.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, good morning, sir.
Buenos días, señor.
You've been arrested on a warrant
Buenos días.
Good morning. Señora, usted lo han detenido por una orden de arresto
for violation of probation out of Osceola County. Your
por haber
bond,
incumplido.
sorry, go ahead.
Por haber incumplido con la libertad vigilada en el condado de Osceola.
Your bond is set at 0.
Se le ha fijado prisión preventiva.
You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Usted reúne los requisitos para que se le designe defensor público y así lo designaré para que le represente.
Thank you.
Gracias, señor.
Who else needs the interpreter?
Irvito Figueroa.
Figueroa. Well, I don't think I have that one. Let's see. Oh, so you think he's under Figueroa?
Judge Marquez?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the case that it was called right before that?
The case call right before that was...
Before Figueroa?
Arias Mera, Juan Arias Mera.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right, this is, here he is. Heriberto Figueroa Andujar. Good morning, sir. You've been arrested on a warrant for failing to appear.
Buenos días, señor. Usted ha quedado detenido por una orden por faltar en comparecer.
The underlying charge is possession of cocaine.
La acusación original es tenencia de cocaína.
Your bond is set at 0.
Se ha fijado prisión preventiva.
You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Usted reúne los requisitos para que le represente el defensor público, perdón, designar el defensor público para que le represente.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Anyone else who needs the interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor. Wilfredo Jimenez.
Jimenez. All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You have been arrested on an out-of-county warrant from Polk County. The charge is failing to appear on resisting an officer without violence.
Buenos días, señora. A usted se le ha detenido por una orden de arresto de otro condado, del condado de Polk. La acusación es faltar en presentarse al tribunal por una acusación original de desobediencia a un agente de las autoridades.
Your bond is set at $500.
Su fianza se ha fijado en cantidad de $500.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Anyone else need the interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor. Elizabeth Velasquez.
Velázquez Elizabeth. Morning, ma'am.
Buenos días, señora.
You're charged with battery. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. Your bond is set at $1,000.
Señora, usted se le acusa de agresión física. Me he leído el affidavit en su causa. Determino que existe indicio de criminalidad. Se fija su fianza en cantidad de $1,000.
I'm sorry, I'm going to place her on the pretrial release program.
Disculpe, le enviaré al programa de la libertad provisional.
You may have no hostile contact with the victim in this case.
Se le prohíbe todo contacto hostil con la víctima del caso.
You do qualify for
Your Honor,
I don't know who's talking.
she does not qualify.
The
I'm
PTR
sorry.
officer, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good morning, Your Honor. She does not qualify for direct PTR. Based on the nature of the offense, she does qualify for a bond with PTR. Actually, at this point, we were just notified that she has an ICE detainer that was placed, but she doesn't qualify for PTR,
All
period.
right. Ma'am, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. You're also being detained by Immigration and Naturalization. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you.
Señora, el agente de la libertad provisional ha dicho que no reúne los requisitos para que sea libertad provisional directa, teniendo en cuenta la naturaleza de los cargos, aunque sí reúne los requisitos para que sea fianza con el programa de libertad provisional. Además, se nos ha notificado que existe una orden de retención de inmigración en su contra. Simplemente no reúne los requisitos para la libertad provisional directa. La jueza ha dicho que se mantendrá la fianza en cantidad de $1,000, que además deberá informarle que existe una orden de retención del Departamento de Inmigración y Naturalización en su contra. Usted reúne los requisitos para que las represente el defensor público, se designa al defensor público para que las represente. Gracias.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else need the interpreter?
Yes, Antoine, the last name is Yaechchao. Antoine?
Okay, I have no idea. Who did you just call it?
His first name's Antoine. Yaechchao.
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 All right, so you're charged with battery.
Señora, ¿usted se le acusa de agresión física?
We're trying to find his paperwork. Just one second. Oh, I completely missed it. Thank you. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause.
He leído la affidavit en su causa, determinó que existe indicio de criminalidad.
I'm going to set your bond
Your
at
Honor.
1,000. Yes, ma'am.
Due to him having no history, we are requesting an ROR, if Your Honor would be so inclined.
I would not. But I'll set his bond at $1,000. You may not return to the scene where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim. I will give you a one-time pickup for your personal belongings with the sheriff's assist. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you.
Se fija la fianza en cantidad de $1,000. La abogada ha solicitado a su señoría que, teniendo en cuenta que no existe historial, sea libertad bajo palabra si su señoría así lo decide. La jueza ha dicho que no, que se fija la fianza en cantidad de $1,000. Se le prohíbe a usted regresar al lugar de los hechos, se le prohíbe todo contacto con la víctima, se le prohibirá regresar una única vez a recuperar sus pertenencias personales, acompañado de un agente de la oficina del sheriff. Usted reúne los requisitos para que le represente el defensor público y así se designará. Gracias.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else need the interpreter?
I don't believe so, but let me ask. No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Madam Interpreter. Have a good weekend.
Your Honor, I will remain on the line for the orange cases.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thanks.
Thank you.
Clifford Beasley.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, Mr. Beasley. Mr. Beasley, you have several charges. The first one, you are, there's an out-of-county warrant for you. I'm sorry, there's a warrant out of Osceola County for you in case 20 CF 75. The charge is grand theft. Your bond in that case has been set at $2,000. I'm staying the bond in that case. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you on that one. You have a charge of resisting an officer without violence. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. The bond is stayed at $500 on that case. You have a charge of providing a false name or ID by arrestee. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. Your bond is stayed at $500. You also have a petty theft charge that you were arrested on. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I find probable cause. I'm setting your bond at $1,000 on that one. On all three of the prior cases I announced, you qualify for the public defender. I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. You also have a warrant. Oh, I'm sorry, that is the warrant that was signed already. All right, sir, thank you. Here's his warrant. Sure. Daniel Bertrand.
Your Honor, he's in detox. Can we reset him for tomorrow?
Is he going to be out of detox by tomorrow? Do you know?
One moment. The corrections officer believes he will be.
Okay, I'll roll him till tomorrow. I don't know where you want that one. Okay, sure. Noel Burgos Robles. Morning, sir. Sir, you're charged with battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. No, I'm going to set your bond at $500. You may have no hostile contact with the victim in this case. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Angelica Cabrera.
Your Honor, for the record, she does meet criteria for direct PTR. She also has no prior history.
Also, for the record, this is on the list where the jail is requesting a mental health ROR for Baker Act purposes.
Is she being Baker acted?
Yes, Your Honor, she was seen by her mental health counselor.
Okay, so you all are Baker acting her?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you're charged with theft, grand theft of a motor vehicle, actually. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to release her ROR on a mental health ROR with the understanding that she's being Baker acted. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Brandarius Campbell. Morning, sir. You were arrested on an out-of-county warrant from Polk County. The underlying charge is violation of probation on false verification of ownership to a pawnbroker. Your bond has been set at $0. Thank you, sir. Taryn Chisholm. Mr. Chisholm, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant for Orange County, Florida. The underlying charge appears to be violation of community control battery on a pregnant person. Bond is set at no bond. You do qualify for the public defender. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Vanessa Guy.
One moment. Can we recall her at the end? She's in detox, but they're going to see if they can get her over here by the end of initial appearance.
Okay. Evelyn Harkins.
The jail would like to call her very last due to behavioral issues.
Okay. Brendan Haven Galt. Sir, you are arrested on an out-of-county warrant, active warrant out of Monroe County. The underlying charges are failure to appear on larceny or theft, grand theft, and fraudulent illegal use of credit cards. Your bonds are set at $25,000 and $10,000. Thank you. This is all part of his. It came apart. Good Lord. Joran Lusant. Morning, sir.
What?
You were arrested and charged
Your Honor,
with...
for the record,
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
He does qualify for direct PTR.
I saw that. Thank you. Sir, you've been arrested and charged while driving with license suspended as a habitual traffic offender, second or subsequent offense. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to place you on pretrial release, order you not to drive unless you have a valid Florida driver's license. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Anthony Luster. Good morning, sir. Mr. Lester.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You've been charged with battery. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in your case at $500. You may not return to the scene where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. Sir, are your belongings at the camp where this is?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
It's like,
So I'll give you a one-time pickup with a sheriff's assist that you can go out there and pick up your belongings and move them to a different camp. Okay? You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Alexis Newton.
Your Honor, this is another one where the jail has requested that I ask for a mental health ROR due to Baker Act reasons. Apparently, she came in as a Baker Act.
Yeah, I noticed that. Is she here? She's the lady in the back?
She is here.
Okay.
Yeah, she's coming up.
Good morning, Ms. Newton. Ms. Newton, you're charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to place you on a mental health ROR with the understanding that you're being Baker Acted. You do qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Alvin Pantojas Mena. Morning, sir. You've been arrested on an out-of-county warrant. The underlying, it's from Seminole County. The underlying charges are violation of probation on possession of cocaine, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of marijuana. Your bond has been set at 0 on those cases. Thank you, sir. Stephen Pierce.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Pierce. Mr. Pierce, you're on an out-of-county warrant. I'm sorry. No, you're being held on a warrant out of Osceola County for failing to appear. The underlying charge was trespass on property. The bond has been set at $9,999. Defense, you care to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. The underlying offense is, I only have the warrant saying it's a failure to appear, but because the underlying offense is only a trespass on property, I would be requesting this court to reduce the bond amount if she's so inclined.
State, on bond, you wish to be heard?
Yeah, I defer to your
Right.
discretion.
Yeah, I'm going to reduce the bond on this one to $2,500. Since it is a failure to appear. He does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Harry Randall.
He is in the hospital, Your Honor.
Is he expected out anytime soon?
He's not.
He's not?
Corrections has informed me that he's not.
Okay.
One moment. They don't know, but they do not expect it to be by tomorrow.
Do you want to waive his initial appearance? I've reviewed all the affidavits and I have found probable cause on him, and one's a warrant. There's a VOP
Is he
on
PD?
view. What?
Is he PD appointed?
He does qualify for the PD, so he qualified last time.
Okay, one moment. I will waive his initial appearance, Your Honor.
Okay, so on the warrant, obviously, judge has found probable cause on that, and I'll stay the bonds on that one at $3,500 and $100. He's got a violation of probation in case 18 CF 4545. That's an on-view violation of probation. Bond on that one is set at 0. And I think that's I had trouble accessing Benchmark this morning. I think that violation of probation, well, he's a violent felony offender of special concern, so he doesn't qualify for a bond. But there's a potential second violation of probation on a DUI. I'm not 100% sure. If there is, I'll set bond at 0 on that one also.
Okay.
I'm not seeing a case number. That one's actually a warrant out of Osceola. I'm sorry, case number 19CT626. But he qualifies for the PD on all of these because he previously qualified, and he's in the hospital, so I'm going to appoint the PD to represent him. It's a violation of probation on a DUI.
So we're gonna do it on view.
I did, there's a warrant on that one. There's an actual warrant on the CT case. If you look at that one, the last set right here, it took me a while to figure it out. This one has a warrant on it. The on view is the other one I announced. Thank you. There you got it? Okay. It's 2 VOPs.
I have a different name.
I'm sorry, did I just VOP him?
It was Randall, right?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, that CT case is not Mr. Randall. Paperwork got stuck together. All right. Kenneth Ricklick. He's the VOP on a warrant. Sorry. Here's Harry Randall. I think I got mixed all the paperwork. Good morning, sir. Sir, you're on a warrant on case 19CT626 Underlying charge is DUI, violation of probation. Your bond's been set at 0. You do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then we have Chris Santana Rosario. Morning, sir. You were arrested on a warrant for violating your probation. Underlying charge is robbery. Bond has been set at 0. You qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I note that you are a violent felony offender of special concern and you do not qualify for a bond. Thank you, sir. Richard Wisner or Wisner. Morning, sir. All right, sir, you were arrested on possession of a controlled substance without prescription and possession of drug paraphernalia. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, he does qualify for direct PTR.
What's his prior record look like?
He has a battery in 2018, which was dropped. A violation of a no contact order in 2017, which was no pros. He does have history dating back all the way to 2005 for similar offenses of aggravated assault.
All right, sir, I'm going to place you on pretrial release. I'm going to order you that you may consume no drugs or alcohol during the time. You will be subject to random urine screens. Anything else the state's asking for?
No, Your Honor.
All right, he does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Thank you. James Adrian. Sir, you were arrested on a violation of probation. Underlying charge is domestic violence battery. Your bond has been set at 0. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Adam Bird. Morning, Mr. Bird. Sir, you're arrested on a failure to appear on a written promise. The underlying charge is petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. Your bond's been set at $2,000. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you.
I thought I was arrested on an out-of-county warrant, Judge, for probation violation out of Orange.
Not according to what I have. I have a felony warrant signed by Judge Wooten. Thank you. Jessica Rivera. Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been arrested on 2 warrants out of Lake County. One warrant is for organized fraud, grand theft, fraudulent use of personal identification. The other one is possession of methamphetamines. On both cases, your bonds have been set at 0. Thank you, ma'am. Israel Sanchez. Israel Sanchez, we need to move this along, folks. You can talk to your lawyer later.
Israel Sanchez.
Morning, sir. Mr. Sanchez, you've been arrested on a violation of probation warrant out of Osceola County. The underlying charge is driving while license suspended or revoked. bond has been set at 0. You do qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. I have Timothy Allen Price. Is he still? He's here? Okay.
He is here, Your Honor.
All right.
Ma'am, can I say something, ma'am?
Not a good idea,
You hear
Mr.
me?
Price. Mr. Price, I'm here to tell you that you were arrested on contempt of court. You violated a no-contact order. Your bond in that had been set at 0.
Hey, ma'am, my mom and dad. I mean,
Are you all cutting off his sound? Because I can't hear him. All right. I'm gonna
Can you
leave
hear
him,
me?
I'm gonna leave him at no bond. He does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him.
no bond. Fuck this shit, man. Crazy, man. These people are fucking crazy, man. I come pulling up here and fucking motherfuckers go flying in the fucking roof. Fuck! Get out of this shit!
Court notes for the record, he was out on a mental health hold. Stephen Warwick, is he in the hospital still, or is he out?
No, he's here.
He's here? Okay.
The jail has requested that I ask for an ROR.
He's currently out on an ROR, and he just got picked up on an
Your Honor, actually, that ROR was a no info. That no info was done. Yeah.
Hold on, Mr. Warwick. Mr. Warwick, you've been arrested on trespass to an occupied structure. I did review the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. You all asking for ROR on mental health grounds? There is a no info on that, on the one he's talking about. He's correct. Thank you.
It said, I don't believe it to be mental health grounds. I believe it's due to the massive infection that he has and he needs medical attention.
All right, I'll release him on his own recognizance. He does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry, here's this. Thank you.
No.
All right, have we located Christine Bird?
She is being brought up, Your Honor.
Okay.
Being brought up to this. She's not in the room yet.
Okay. Is Vanessa Guy in the room? Or Evelyn Harkins? Those are the three I have left for you all.
One moment.
Sure.
Crazy day. They don't have what we could do. I think we have like 3 Spanish cases in Orange County.
Yeah, why don't we do that? While you're bringing yours up in Osceola, is it going to be a few minutes? Because we have 3 Spanish cases we can do here.
It's going to be a few minutes.
All right, why don't we do this? I'm just going to switch over to Orange for a minute to do the 3 Spanish cases so our interpreter can go, and I'll check back in with you in just a few minutes. All right?
That's fine.
Thanks.
Okay.
Who's this? Oh, my 3 Spanish cases. Yeah, thanks. We were just talking about that, weren't we?
Yes.
All right, let's start with Ismael Cruz Martinez, please.
Yes, I can.
Even though they stated at first, but we found an ice hold, so he would.
He's got an ice hold? Okay.
So he would have qualified for PTO.
All right, thank you.
For this one?
No, he's got an ice hold, yeah. Thank you, because that was what I had picked, but I guess I'm not picking that anymore. That's not bothering me. If you don't need to move it, it's not bothering me at all. There's no point in you moving it twice, but thank you. That way I can keep an eye on them, see when they bring these people up. Hmm?
Here, are we on the record? Courtney Daly on behalf of the Public Defender's Office.
State.
Stephanie Griffin on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
All right.
Can we skip, Cruz Martinez for a second, Your Honor? I'm waiting on his victim to come up.
Sure. Does she also only speak Spanish?
She needs an interpreter also.
How are we going to manage that?
I think they can hear once they get in the booth.
Madam Interpreter, can you interpret for both the victim and the defendant?
Of course, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. I'll let you know when she gets in the booth.
Thank you.
In the meantime, let me just tell him what he's charged with. Good morning, this is Ismael Cruz Martinez. Hmm?
We moved him to the back.
Oh, I'm sorry, who's this? Oh, okay, this is Benicio Guevara. Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with aggravated assault and battery. I have reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in your case. I'm ordering you not to return to the scene where this occurred, and you may have no contact with the victim in this case. Do you live at that residence?
Yes, I do.
All right, I will give you a one-time pickup for your personal belongings with the sheriff's assist. I don't have any PD forms, but I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you, subject to you filling out the affidavit of insolvency.
Your Honor, what were those bond amounts? I'm sorry, I don't
He's
have-
got 1,500 on the ag assault and 100 on the battery.
Thank you.
All right, all right, thank you, sir.
No. ¿Se puede dar un ROI?
No, not on this case.
So, this is the total,
Yes. 1,500 and 100.
10% from this, from
Yes.
this whole thing?
Yes.
They just seemed off. They're usually quick. And is this gentleman Mr. Cruz Martinez or Mr. Duran Salinas?
The second one.
Okay. All right, this is Christian Duran Salinas. Sir, you have been arrested on an out-of-county warrant. Out of Collier County for failing to appear on a traffic offense. The bond in your case has been set at $500. Thank you. All right, and now we're back to Ismael Cruz Martinez. If the victim in that case wants to step into the box. Good morning, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Buenos días, señora. ¿Me logra escuchar?
Sí. All right.
Yes.
All right. Sir, you have been charged with domestic violence battery. I have reviewed the affidavit in your case, and I do find probable cause.
Señora, usted se le acusa de agresión física por violencia doméstica. He leído el affidavit en su caso y determinó que existe indicio de criminalidad.
Sí.
Yes.
Ma'am, do you want to be heard on his release?
Señora, ¿usted quiere pronunciarse con respecto a las condiciones de libertad de él?
Sí. Can you tell me? Sorry. Can you tell me your name first, please?
Me dice primeramente su nombre, por favor.
Isabel Rodríguez.
Isabel Rodríguez.
And what is your relationship to...
¿Qué relación tienen ustedes?
Él es mi esposo desde hace 20 años.
He's been my husband for 20 years.
And what did you want to tell me, ma'am?
¿Y qué quería usted decirme, señora?
Que pues él no es una mala persona, pero a mí me gustaría nada más que me ayudaran a investigar si estoy casada legalmente o ya no, porque yo no me he divorciado que tenga uso de razón.
Well, that he is not a bad person as such, but I would like to get some help and be able to investigate if I am still legally married, because that I know of, I have not been divorced.
Okay, that is something that you would have, that's a civil issue, ma'am, that you would either have to go talk to legal aid about or go to the courthouse, to the domestic division. We're here to determine whether or not I should set a bond on Mr. Cruz Martinez.
Señora, eso sería un tema civil que usted tendría que hablar ya sea con el Departamento de Ayuda Legal o con la sección de asuntos domésticos en el Tribunal de la Ciudad. Nos encontramos aquí en el día de hoy porque yo tengo que determinar si se le fijará o no fianza al señor Cruz Martínez.
Sí.
Do you have something to
Yes.
say about him getting a bond?
¿Usted tiene algo que decir con respecto al hecho de que se le fije fianza a él?
No, es todo.
No, that would be all.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora.
All right, Mr. Cruz Martinez, there is a hold from immigration and naturalization on you. Based on that, having found probable cause, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. You may not return to the scene where this occurred. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. I will give you a one-time pickup order with the sheriff's assist, but you need to understand that due to the ICE hold, you are not being released. He does qualify for the public defender, and I will appoint a public defender to represent him.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Would you like for the interpreter to interpret that for the victim?
Yes, please. Thank you.
The witness, I'm sorry. Señora, se le ha impuesto a él una orden de retención del Departamento de Inmigración y Naturalización. Se determina que existe indicio de criminalidad. Se le fija fianza en cantidad de $1,000. Se le prohíbe regresar al lugar de los hechos y se le prohíbe todo contacto con la víctima. Podrá regresar una única vez acompañado de las autoridades a recuperar sus pertenencias personales. Teniendo en cuenta que existe la orden de retención de inmigración, él no saldrá de la cárcel, pero se le designa defensor público ya que reúne los requisitos.
All right. Thank you all very much. Gracias,
Muchas
señora.
gracias a todos.
Okay.
All right, let me see if Osceola's ready to finish. They don't look like it, but... You all ready to go, or you need more time? Osceola.
We have Christine Bird.
All right. Come on up, Ms. Bird.
Your Honor, my apologies. May the Spanish interpreter be excused?
Yes, I'm sorry. I always forget to tell you that. Have a good weekend.
Not a problem. Have a very nice weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And Your Honor, with Ms. Bird, with this case, I would like to make a probable cause argument.
Okay, I'm not really sure which one we're talking about. Ms. Bird is, I have a violation of
Bird.
probation on community control. This is on view on grand theft, case number 19 CF 5917. On that one, ma'am, I'm finding probable cause. Your bond is set at 0. So I've taken care of that one. So now I have petty theft first offense. Is that the one you want to make a PC argument on?
The VOP, is this a felony VOP?
It is.
So an arrest counts for PC on a VOP as well?
It does.
On a felony?
It does.
One moment.
Your Honor, are we on the Bird case, Christine?
We are.
May I ask?
Okay, yes,
All right, the state was asking me something. Yes, Ms. Griffin?
I do see a mention of child neglect with great bodily harm. Is that one of the violation probation, or is that one of the new?
No, that's one of the new charges. We're
Okay.
getting to that one, okay?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
So, right now, the, PD was just asking me about the violation of probation. Yes, ma'am? In Osceola.
On the, yes, okay. Do you want to address, I have a probable cause argument for the charge of petty theft as well as the other 3 charges.
Go ahead.
Okay, for, with the petty theft, it was, the only allegation is that the officer said that she, Christine said that Clifford stole the Nintendo Switch and that she's always getting in trouble because of him. So she never alleged that she stole it. There is a difference in receiving stolen property and in petty theft.
State.
So there's no allegations that she took it.
State.
I'd request 24 hours, Your Honor, to contact the law enforcement officer.
All right, I'll give you 24 hours on the petty theft. Next one.
Yes, Your Honor. When it comes to the possession of a controlled substance, the allegations are, one moment, Your Honor. Based on my training and experience, I was able to identify the substance as methamphetamine, but it never alleges that he field tested it. It doesn't allege that he touched it, that he smelled it. He just uses a conclusory statement that based on my training and experience, I was able to identify. He doesn't give any explanation on how he was able to identify this as meth. And so that argument would also go for the possession and use of drug paraphernalia. I believe...
Ma'am, if you read the last line, it says, "I tested the clear crystal-like substance with my agency-issued test kit, which resulted in presumptive positive for methamphetamines."
No, I did not. I never tested it.
The reason it's confusing is because it's in a paragraph that's talking about Daniel Bertrand.
They never tested it.
Yes, maybe I read it. I believe that this would...
They never tested it. I was there.
I read it as it being 2 separate instances where it's all...
Ma'am?
He had some of his own.
Ma'am, you don't need to be talking, all right?
I could be wrong. My reading was that it was 2 completely different instances, that this was an investigation that concluded multiple different people, and so when it came to Daniel Bertrude, he had it on his person, his glass pipe, and that was tested. And then there was an incident that occurred within the hotel room, and something was found not on Daniel Bertrude, but in a plastic bag in a small cylinder. So it's 2 completely different instances, and the one attributed to Ms. Bird was never tested.
All right, the other issue you have is Christine verbally stated that she may have some weed inside the room and possibly a little bit of meth. This is PC, it's a low standard. I'm finding PC on the meth, I'm finding PC on the weed. All right. All you got left is child neglect without great bodily harm.
It's 2 different ones.
No PC argument. I was going to argue that the neglect was due to the drugs.
All right. I'm going to stay the bonds on those cases, having found PC on all of them. She does qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent her. The petty theft, I'm rolling till tomorrow. The state has 24 hours.
They didn't check.
All right, thank you. Who else do you have there?
We have Hawkins, Your Honor.
All right, get that one up. I have Evelyn Harkins. Morning, Ms. Harkins. Ms. Harkins, you're here on a warrant for failing to appear. The underlying charge is trespass in a structure. Your bond has been set at 0. You qualify for the public defender. I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am. And
I go home or what?
no, ma'am, your lawyer will explain it to you. what's going on with Vanessa Guy? Is she available or not?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, she's here.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You were arrested on a warrant, 2 counts, failing to appear on a written promise, underlying charges, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. Your bonds have been set at $1,000 and $100. You do qualify for the public defender. I appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's it for Osceola. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Carestis, what can I do for you?
Good morning, Judge. I have Ms. Simpson.
You're going to need to tell me a little bit more than that. Like,
Yes.
what's the charge?
It is, it's listed as domestic violence battery. The victim is present. It does not qualify as DV. The victims here can testify they don't live together. They don't have children. They're all here.
Hold on.
Oh,
Jasmine
sorry.
Simpson, yeah. Let's get her out here first. I got it. The clerk is saving me by pulling these
Sorry.
out for me. Bless you. You did, it's right on top.
Oh, okay.
You did a good job. No, I can find it.
Okay.
I'll flip through here. All right, I need you to announce yourself for the record, Mr.
Yes, Judge.
President.
Steve Carestis here on behalf of Jasmine Simpson.
All right, Ms. Simpson is now present. The alleged victim is present. Sir, can you state your name, please?
Michael Nitty.
All right. All right, Mr. Carestis, you may proceed. What is it you're arguing? Probable cause on the domestic violence?
No, Judge, I just wanted ROR, Judge. And I'm just going to be taking some testimony from Mr. Nitty.
I don't think she qualifies because it's a battery, but, oh, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Nitty, would you state your name, please?
Michael Francis Nitty.
That's N-I-T-T-I?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any intention of prosecuting in this case?
Not at all.
All right, and you're from Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
You're here with actually Miss Simpson's family?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you're going to be going back in, what, a week or two?
Going back on Monday.
All right. And when you're back in Texas, do you have any interest or any intention of voluntarily coming back to Florida to prosecute in this case?
No, sir.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
And what do you weigh?
190.
All right. Do you have any fear whatsoever towards Miss Simpson?
No, sir.
All right. You have any issues if she were released on her own recognizance or on a small bond?
No, sir.
And would you like to have contact with her?
Oh, yes, please.
All right. And like you said, you're here with her family, right? And you're going back with them? Okay.
State, you have any questions?
No, Your Honor, her risk assessment is, I'd leave to your discretion.
All right. All right, I did review the affidavit. In this case, I do find probable cause. I'm going to place her on pretrial release. She does qualify for that. Ma'am, I'm just ordering you to comply with the pretrial release program. No hostile contact with Mr., I'm going to mispronounce your name. Is it Nettie?
Nitty, ma'am.
Nitty, I'm sorry, with Mr. Nitty.
Just the only issue I have, when I spoke with PTR, they said she has to report in person. They're going back to Texas in a few days, and on Monday. She can't stay here. I mean, she'd essentially be homeless if she had to stay here.
She could make a telephone call, then the next day, telephone call.
Okay.
When is she leaving?
Monday.
Monday.
Well, she'll be next day visitation. So, what time?
6 a.m.
So she can call in.
You can just call in to PTO.
What time?
Those explain all that to you, correct? They'll give her paperwork and explain
We're
it
going to
before
give
she
you the
leaves.
paperwork, so
Okay.
you'll just be reporting into PTR, and of course, you're required to appear for any court dates that are scheduled in Orange County. All right, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Sure.
I see you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Samuel Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Taylor, you were arrested on a disorderly conduct charge. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond in that case. You do qualify for the public defender, well, provisionally, I don't have any affidavits, I'll appoint provisionally, subject to you filling out an affidavit. Additionally, you're on bond on trespass to a structure in case 19 MM 2008 out of Osceola, and trespass to an occupied structure in case 2020 MM 315 out of Osceola. I'm revoking your bond on both of those and setting your bonds at 0. Thank you.
Okay,
He's already been previously
what's going on?
appointed.
They said,
Your Honor, for the record, he's undergoing competency proceedings in those out-of-bond cases.
yes, this is company. I was already dismissed on
All
those
right, sir,
cases.
thank you.
So am I getting out today?
No, Your Honor.
Daniel Soto.
When do I go back? When's my
You
next
need to
court
leave,
date?
sir, you're done.
He's medical, Your Honor.
Daniel Soto is medical?
Yes, ma'am.
He's been medical for a while now. Do we have any reasonable expectation he's going to be available soon? Or do you want me to just go ahead and, I mean, I read the affidavit, I do find probable cause on it. So I'll leave him at a no bond because he's medical? Or do you want me to set the bond at 1,000?
For the battery, set the bond at 1,000.
Yeah, on the battery, I'll just set the bond at 1,000, appoint the public defender to represent him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. We're waiving his appearance, yeah. Considering his IA to be done. No contact with the victim, no return to the scene.
Thank you.
Thanks. Brandon James, is that you, sir?
Yes.
All right, good morning, sir, or good afternoon, actually. Mr. James, you were arrested on attempted burglary of a dwelling, possession of methamphetamines, possession of drug paraphernalia.
Your Honor, I have a probable cause challenge if you heard.
On which one?
On this one, I have a probable cause challenge. On the burglary.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, there's no probable cause for, that he intended to commit a crime therein. The evidence is that he knocked on the door and asked if someone was home. And then I would argue that there's no probable cause for the drugs because they were search incident to an illegal arrest.
That's a motion to suppress, not a PC
Okay.
argument, yeah.
But the
State, you want to
burglary,
respond to the burglary?
I'd request 24 hours, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'll give you the 24 hours because you're entitled to it, but I agree with the PD that there's no probable cause on the attempted burglary. But I'll give you the 24 hours since you're entitled to it. I do find probable cause on the possession of methamphetamine, the possession of drug paraphernalia. I'll stay the bonds on those two cases. He is, however, on release in 2020 CF 1437, charges possession of one of those I can't pronounce, and trespass on property. After warning on that case, I'm revoking bond, setting bond at 0. Qualifies for the public defender. Provisionally, I appoint the public defender subject to the affidavits being filled out. Everyone appointed this afternoon is being appointed provisionally, subject to an affidavit.
Your Honor, what were the bonds about? I'm sorry, I just don't have them in front
What?
of me. What were the bonds amounts? I just don't have them in front of me.
$150 and $100. And then there's $2,500 on the attempted burglary.
Okay.
Which I'm rolling till tomorrow.
Thank you.
See if they can produce bond, or I'm sorry, produce an affidavit on that one. Donald Shelton Donald.
He refused, Your Honor.
All right. This is the second or third time he has refused. Therefore, at this time, I'm finding that he has waived his right to be present at his initial appearance. I've reviewed the affidavit for possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000. Provisionally appoint the public defender's office. Thank you. Michael Lonkowski. Is that you, sir? Did I mispronounce your name?
No, you didn't.
All right. Good morning, or good afternoon, sir. Sir, you're charged with disorderly conduct. See if I can get to your paperwork. Does he qualify? Does he qualify for pretrial release?
No, he does not.
He does not. I didn't think he did. I somehow managed to get the paperwork out of order. All right, sir.
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask if if the state had an offer, if the court wanted to make an offer to resolve this case.
State.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if I can give an offer. From my experience, it's usually a separate attorney that represents the city or county.
Okay. You can make an offer if you want.
It would be just withholding court costs, Your Honor, then.
What?
Withholding court cost?
You want to do that?
You want to take the offer? It's correct answer. Okay.
You want to enter a plea in this case, sir?
She's talking to you.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were still talking to him. I thought he was talking to me.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Here. Are you on probation?
No,
Are you a U.S. citizen? Do you understand that you have a right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that you're giving up that right by a jury plea? Do you understand the plea?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and sign this?
Yes, I do.
Haitian Creole. I got it, because we used to have.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and sign right there. I have to stay on top of it. We're ready, Your Honor.
You ready to go?
Yes.
All right. All right, let's swear him in, please. Thank you.
Can you raise your right hand, please?
Thank
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, sir, state your name and your date of birth.
Michael Stephen Monkowski, August 14, 1959.
All right, Mr. Lankowski, I have in my hand a plea form. Did you read and understand it before you signed it?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand that by entering a plea to the charge of disorderly conduct, you're waiving any right to a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that what you wish to do?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that pleading to a criminal charge, if you're not a U.S. citizen, can subject you to being deported?
Yes.
You stipulate that there's probable cause?
Yes, Your
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I already read, there's a factual basis. I read the arrest affidavit. I do find a factual basis for the plea. Sir, to the charge of disorderly conduct, how do you plead?
Guilty, ma'am, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Guilty.
All right. All right, I'll accept your plea. I find you're alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, the consequence of entering your plea, and the rights you're giving up by entering this plea. You've been represented by competent counsel. Any legal cause I can't pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, the court is going to withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail. Is it 2? 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Do you have a, when's the last time you worked, sir?
Been a long time.
All right, I'll reduce all of his mandatory court costs to a civil judgment. Thank you. You have 30 days to appeal judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you.
Can we call the case out of order? 'Cause I have
Yes,
the
ma'll.
Creole interpreter on the line.
Sure.
Louis Ryson. Very last case before.
This one right here?
His victim is
Jean Gertie Racine? Racine?
yes.
Okay.
Racine.
Racine, please.
Thank you. And we just hit the talk button because we have these on.
So hit this one?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, this is Judge Marquez. Can you hear me on the language line?
Yes, I can, Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who needs the interpreter?
I believe that.
Okay.
Dis
All right, ma'am, do you need an interpreter?
madame, est-ce que vous avez besoin de monde pour interpréter pour vous?
Oui.
Yes.
All right, can you tell me your name, please?
Est-ce que vous captez juste là, non, s'il vous plaît?
Linda Bogelin.
Qui ça?
Linda Bogelin.
Linda Bogelin.
And what's your relationship to Mr. Racine?
Et qui relation avec Monsieur Racine?
Cousin.
My cousin.
Okay, so you're not the alleged victim in this case?
C'est pas moi-même qui c'est victime, non?
Non.
Non, qu'à ça?
Non.
No.
Okay. All right, sir. You're charged with battery by strangulation, domestic violence. I reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. Ma'am, did you want to be heard on his release?
Je dis, ouais, que vous avez un combat de domestique, bah, je dis comme ça, est-ce que vous avez besoin que vous attendez, que vous laguez mon ça?
Oui, j'ai besoin que vous la gueule. C'est moi qui suis sa petite moun. Besoin.
Yes, I want him to be Yes, I would want him to be released because he's the one who's responsible for the children.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
Li de second lot ba kota men di li, madame. So di? I cannot hear her well.
Non,
So di?
di rien. Tout simplement, ti moun nan di li pa apeli.
Okay. I don't have anything to say. All I wanted to say is that the child said to him that he's not afraid of him.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. State, you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, you have any questions?
Li de second.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're very welcome. Thank you for using our service.
All right, I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I'm going to release him on his own recognizance. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent him provisionally. Sir, you can't have any hostile contact. Is this your nephew?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You can't have any hostile contact with your nephew, all right? Anything else the state's requesting? All right, thank you. Timothy Orange?
Hello.
Hello. Mr. Orange, you're charged with disorderly conduct at a public establishment, false alarm of a fire, assault, and resisting an officer without violence. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in this matter. You do qualify for the public defender provisionally. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. Latara Roby?
Yes.
Proby, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
ma'am. That's okay.
All right. Ma'am, you're being arrested on a violation of probation out of Palm Beach County.
No, Your Honor.
No, hang on. I'll tell her. No,
I can only tell you what the paperwork says, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
It does say that there is a violation of probation. She informed me back there that she was picked up over a week ago, and I'm looking at the jail website. She's been here since the 28th. I think they haven't picked her up yet.
No, they said they're
And
not
so
coming
they're not going to pick her up.
because
So,
there's no
hang on,
violation.
you gotta let me talk.
Okay.
So they haven't picked her up, so I think they put her back on the docket to figure out what the court wanted to do, since they're not.
How long has she been sitting here?
Since the 28th, according to the jail
Today's the
website.
7th. How long do we usually hold them?
That's a question for,
How long do they
I
usually?
can't.
So they haven't picked her up in a week?
and I don't know whether or not she's actually scheduled to go on at a later date.
They're supposed to have filed the paperwork to issue a warrant. Has anybody, let your lawyer talk, ma'am. Has anybody got a warrant on her?
I'm not aware of any more, it's out of Palm Beach County. She told me that they put her back on the docket because of.
I have an attorney. Can I please speak? Can I please speak?
What do you want to tell her?
Does anybody have a warrant for her?
Hang on, let them do their job, you tell me what you want to tell me, whisper.
I don't see a warrant, but I see that they tried to contact them yesterday, and they were saying that they got the message, but that's all that I
They
have.
said, the officers said they're not coming because Bridges, because there's no warrant.
So they
because
got the
my
message,
probation
but, you
officer
know.
never violated me.
We're not gonna hold her indefinitely for
Yeah,
them. So,
it sounds like there's no warrant. She was saying that Officer Bridges, I don't know if that's someone who works here in the jail.
Yes.
Told her that there is no warrant. I don't have access to the information, so I can't verify either
no,
way.
it's been a week
Yeah, normally it's only a couple
I already
days.
have an attorney.
for her.
Yes, it looks good on that last page, very last page. How many cases is it for Palm Beach County? We have a total of 3. It's 3. It's 3, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, but they haven't issued a warrant. It's been a week. I'm releasing her.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Palm
Judge.
Beach County wants her. They're gonna need to issue a warrant. We'll pick her up then.
Thank you, Judge.
Daquan Allen?
Your Honor, I
Daquan?
have a problem.
I'm sorry?
I had a probable cause challenge for that one, but we'll roll it.
I'm not out.
I know.
All right. Sir, you're charged with aggravated assault, domestic violence, grand theft, burglary with structure, and trespassing in an occupied structure. in an unoccupied structure.
Your Honor, which name do you have?
No, Allen's in mental health?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I didn't hear that, so you're not charged with any of those things, sir. Do we think he's going to be out of mental health by tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
All right, I'll roll him till tomorrow. We'll take a shot at it. You know what? I'm going to roll him till Monday. He's not going to be out by tomorrow. So let's roll him to Monday. All right. We'll try again then. All right, are you Frederick Broughton?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. You are charged with false imprisonment, domestic violence, and tampering with a witness to hinder communication to a Leo. I did review the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. Did you want to be heard on him? Did you say you want to be heard on probable cause?
No, that was for Allen's. Please,
Okay.
please let me do my job. That was for Allen.
Okay.
So, no, not on this one.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Let me get some.
Oh, you can't hear the judge? Do we have a hearing set?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
didn't, I'm really sorry. You come here and try to tell me about all the facts and everything, and I said, yeah.
This is actually a warrant that was issued for him. so-
It was.
Yeah. All right, sir, let me try that again. There was a warrant issued for your arrest for false imprisonment and tampering with the witness to hinder communications. Probable cause has been found on the warrant. I'm going to set your bonds on count 1, the false imprisonment at $1,000, on count 2 at $500. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. If you live there, I'll give you a one-time sheriff's assist to pick up your personal belongings. Anything else state's requesting?
What's the bond set for?
1,000 on count 1, the false imprisonment, 500 on the tampering.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Oh, provisionally appoint the public defender to represent him.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know how long they're gonna be.
Shalimar Deida.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you're charged with aggravated battery with a weapon, domestic violence. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm setting your bond at $5,000. You may have no contact with the victim in this case. You may not return to the place where this occurred. If this is your residence, I'll give you a one-time pickup with a sheriff's assist. No weapons, no firearms. You do provisionally qualify for the public defender, and I'll provisionally appoint them. Thank you. Romance Faircloth.
This one I do have a probable cause challenge for.
Okay, go ahead.
He is currently charged with aggravated battery on a pregnant person, but there's nothing in the four corners of the affidavit that indicates that the victim was pregnant.
State, you have a response to that?
No, I do see that it's not in there, Your Honor, but I do request 24 hours because I do have contact info for the victim, so I would like to contact them to see if I can get that.
All right, I'll give you until tomorrow. I am going to find probable cause on the domestic violence battery. You are correct about there's no probable on that one, but I'll give you the 24 hours. On the domestic violence battery, I'll set bond at $1,000, no contact with the victim, no return to the place where this occurred. If you all live together, I'll give you a one-time pickup with the sheriff's assist, no weapons, no firearms. Anything else? And then, of course, I'll roll the other one until tomorrow. Provisionally appointing the public defender's office.
I'm sorry.
James McCullough. Or Jermaine, I'm sorry. Good morning, sir. Sir, you're charged with burglary of a structure and grand theft, 3rd degree. On a warrant. Wait, let me make sure which one is which.
There's two.
Yeah, the first one. Okay, Okay, the burglary of a structure and the grand theft third degree is a warrant.
Yes, that's right.
So bonds are stayed on that case. You provisionally appoint the public defender on that one. The second one is battery, domestic violence, and criminal mischief. I've reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. On the domestic violence battery, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. No contact with the victim, no return to the place where this occurred, no weapons, no firearms. One-time sheriff's assist for pickup if you need to get your belongings. On the criminal mischief, I'm going to set your bond at $250. On that case, I'll provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Yes, ma'am. He doesn't, according to this. Oh, it says he does. Why does he qualify?
It's up for trial release.
I'm sorry, I misread that. I thought he didn't. All right. Sorry, hate to do this to you on the paperwork. I'm going to place him on PTR on the battery and the criminal mischief. Same rules apply, though. No contact, no return, no weapons, no firearms.
They're gonna meet with you. Supervised by officer.
Thank you.
They'll give you paperwork.
This is moving like mud today. Cameron Zabo.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, you're charged with aggravated assault, domestic violence, and battery, domestic violence.
Yes, ma'am.
I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. All right, which one of you's name is on the lease for this place?
So it's actually not a lease. We didn't sign any paper or agreement for it. We did not, it was just paid for by the landlord of the house. There was
Okay.
no lease.
All right, so I'm going to place you on, I'm sorry? I thought somebody said something to me. All right, Mr. Zabo, you qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. You two intending on living together again?
No.
Here, don't look at
All
each
right.
other.
No contact with one another, all right? I'm talking to you right now. I'll do yours in just a second. Mr. Sabo, no contact with, tell me your name, I'm sorry. Victor what? I'm sorry? Dargis, okay. No contact with Mr. Dargis? Is someone intending on going back to this apartment and living there?
Yes.
Who? You?
Me.
You good with that?
I work in Cocoa, so I'll be going.
Okay. So you're allowed to return to the place where this occurred. You two stay away from one another, no contact. Did I set his bonds? Well, I put him on
Yeah.
pretrial release.
I think we're done with Mr. Sabo.
Okay, that was Mr. Sabo. And provisionally appoint the PD to represent him. All right, there's Sabo. Now, Mr. Dargis. Let me find your paperwork. Here you are. Mr. Darga, okay. I've
Yeah,
reviewed, you're charged with domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the affidavit. In your case, I do find probable cause. Thank you. You also qualify for pretrial release. So I'm going to put you on the pretrial release program. No contact with Mr. Sabo. You may not return to the place where this occurred. However, I will give you a one-time pickup for your personal belongings with the sheriff's assist. Provisionally appointing the public defender to represent you. Here's his stuff. Anything else on either one of these?
No.
All right, thank you. Jeffrey, is it Basia?
Basha.
Basha. Mr. Basha, you were charged with domestic violence battery. Viewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release. So I'm going to place you on the pretrial release program. No contact with the victim in this case. No return to the place where this occurred. No weapons, no firearms. Do you live at that address?
Yes.
All right, so I'll give you a one-time
And Your Honor?
pick up with the sheriff's assist. Talk to your, I'm provisionally appointing the PDs to represent you. Talk to your lawyer.
Well, she's not, she can't give her, he can't have contact with her unless she's here to say so. So she'll have to have her contact with the R office.
Your office?
Yes, right here, phone number.
Okay.
Edward Javier Garcia. All right, sir, you are charged with battery. Reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release. All right. I'm placing you on the pretrial release program. No return to the place where this occurred, no contact with the victim, no weapons, no firearms. I'll give you a one-time pickup order with a sheriff's assist. Jillian Moda. Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of y'all. Morning, ma'am. Ms. Moda, you were charged with domestic violence battery. I note that we have someone here. Sir, what's your name?
Ma'am, it's Shaylee.
I'm sorry.
Shaylee.
Shaylee. What's your full name?
Shaylee Alvarez.
All right. Are you the alleged victim in this case?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I did find probable cause on the battery. Would you like to speak to the issue of her being released?
Yes.
Go ahead.
We are from Broward County. We just came here for Islands of Adventure for the weekend. Our intent was to go home last night. Unfortunately, this event happened. And I would like for us to go home to our son.
Do you have any fear of her?
No.
Okay. How old's your son?
6.
Do you want her to come home?
For sure.
State, you have any questions?
I did see there were some significant injuries, bite marks. I wish that they have no contact, Your Honor.
I refuse that. We live
Well,
together.
It's my decision whether you all have contact or not, so, did you get any medical attention yesterday?
I didn't need it.
Are you afraid of her?
Not at all.
Do you two think you can live together without having any more physical confrontations?
Yes, we can. This
Do you
was
have any
just
questions?
one unfortunate event.
I'm sorry?
This was just an unfortunate event
Okay.
that happened.
Do you have any questions?
No, if you're not inclined to give contact.
They're adults. They're two grown women.
I
So, all right, she does qualify for pretrial release, so I'm gonna place her on the pretrial release program. Ma'am, you may have no hostile contact with victim in this case. Do you know what I mean by no hostile contact?
Yeah, like this can't happen again.
Yeah, keep your hands off each other, all right? Everybody has verbal arguments. I don't really have a problem with that, but no touching. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, because the next go-round, you're not going to be able to have any contact, including with your son. You got it? Okay.
Got it.
All right, you do provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck. All right, Joris Brown? Is that you,
Yes,
sir?
ma'am.
All right. All right, sir. Let's see. I have grand theft third degree, false verification, and dealing in stolen property. That's a warrant that was issued for you. Bonds are set on that warrant at $2,500, $2,500, and $5,000. I'm staying the bonds on that case, provisionally appointing the public defender. Additionally, you were charged with resisting an officer without violence. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set your bond at $100 on that one and provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you on that one. And we have an out-of-county warrant for you on a violation of probation, underlying charges grand theft, and credit card fraud. Trying to figure out what county that came out of. Miami-Dade. So on that one, bond is set at no bond. All right, thank you, sir. Arvell Cole, is that, who are you, sir? What's your name?
Clarence Caleb, fourth, ma'am.
Nope.
Cole, this one.
I have Arvell Cole next. Sorry.
That's
Is that you, sir?
I think it's back there.
Yeah,
I think they
he's-
just skipped someone.
They picked the wrong one? Okay.
She went to get him.
No problem. While she's calling for Mr. Cole, let's go ahead and do Mr. Dennis since he's here. All right. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Dennis, you're charged with failing to report that you were vacating your residence within 48 hours. I don't say anything.
Okay.
All right, I've reviewed the affidavit in this case. I'm going to set bond in this matter. Are you living here in Orange County?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an address?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. I'm going to give you 24 hours to register your address, all right?
Can I say something now?
No, just don't say anything because you're on the record. I am going to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. If you've already done it, you qualified. But within 24 hours, your address has to be registered. If it's already done, don't worry about it. Provisionally appoint the public defender. Thank you, sir. Arvell Cole. All right, Mr. Cole, you're here on 2 cases. You're charged with burglary of an occupied dwelling, grand theft 3rd degree, dealing in stolen property, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification. And there's a warrant for your arrest on that. On count 1, the burglary of an occupied dwelling, I'm setting bond at $10,000. I'm staying the bonds on the other counts, which are $1,000, $2,500, and $500. Provisionally appointing the public defender. On that last gentleman, I forgot to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent him. On the trespass?
On our vehicle, his charges.
Yeah, they're not gonna give
They
you
qualify.
On a burglary of an occupied dwelling?
Yes.
No, I'm gonna leave him with the bonds on that one. On the trespass, and then also you're charged with trespass in an open container. On those 2, I did review the affidavit, I find probable cause. I will put you on pretrial release on those 2 and provisionally appoint the public defender on that one, all right? All the warrant conditions are stayed.
Okay.
What were the conditions? Oh, yeah, no contact with the victim, no return. All those conditions on the warrant are stayed. Thank you.
Do you have any conditions on the PTR?
No. Carlos Fogel, is that you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're on a warrant, failing to appear, underlying charge, possession of a controlled substance. Your bond's been set at $2,500. You qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. All these are provisional appointments. I keep forgetting to say it, sorry. Sir, how do you pronounce your last name?
Gouvernement.
Gouvernement. Mr. Gouvernement, you were charged with grand theft of a firearm, burglary of a structure, or conveyance while armed. State, I don't find any probable cause on these 2. I give you 24 hours to produce an affidavit that has facts in it, not conclusions.
Yes, Your Honor. On which charges?
Both of them.
Yes, Your Honor.
You'll be released on your own copy tomorrow if they don't have probable cause to post it. I'll be here. Are we done with Mr. Gouvernement?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm going to roll him to tomorrow.
thank you.
Thanks.
Your Honor, he has a bunch of out-on-bond cases, and I want to be heard on those before you do anything.
Mr. Harrison?
Yes.
Yes, he does have quite a few cases.
The date of the offense date listed in the warrant says that this offense occurred somewhere between February 20th, 2019 and March 2nd, 2019. All of his out-on-bond cases, he was arrested on those cases either November 15th or November 16th, so they didn't occur while he was out on bond on those cases, so I ask that you take no action.
Mr. Harrison is medical, Your Honor.
Is this Mr. Harrison, or he's not?
That's Mr. Henderson. Mr.
Okay.
Harrison is medical.
So you want me to go ahead with Mr. Harris? You waiving his presence?
Yes.
Okay. You are correct that his arrest on this new one occurred after this, or before this, I'm sorry. These cases occurred before the date of, the alleged date of the new arrest.
Yes.
So on the burglary of a dwelling, grand theft, third degree, and criminal mischief, I do find probable cause, having reviewed the affidavit. I'm staying the bonds on that one. I'm taking no action on the ones he's out on bond because of the fact that it didn't happen afterwards. He also got arrested on driving while license suspended. I'm staying the bond and finding probable cause. Provisionally appointing the public defender. I think I covered all his cases. Did I miss any? No, I got them all. Okay. Thank you. And you're Mr. Henderson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Henderson, you're on a warrant for failing to appear. Underlying charge, fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. Your bond has been set at 0. You do provisionally qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
I
Thank you,
apologize,
sir.
Your Honor. Nicole Dickerson represents him on this case.
Oh, he does? She does?
Yes.
Okay,
I
then
saw
no,
the other way.
thank you, no PD. All right. Reginald Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, or good afternoon, Mr. Jones. Sir, you're charged with trafficking in heroin, possession of methamphetamines, ecstasy, and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. I did review the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in your case, provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. And so now I have Pierre-Louis Jacques, is that correct? All right. All right, sir, you were charged, in the new case, you're charged with possession of concealed weapon or firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting an officer without violence, carrying a concealed weapon. I did review the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause on all charges. I'm going to stay the bonds and provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Additionally, you're out on bond on 19 CF 17604, possession of cocaine with intent to sell, delivery with a firearm, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or delivery with a weapon, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, trafficking in meth, possession of ammo by a convicted felon, and carrying a concealed firearm, and resisting without violence. Bond is revoked in that case and set at 0. Thank you.
No, you have to wait for a bond hearing. I'll tell you.
Nicole McKelly,
She's behavior.
she's,
Behavior.
you want to go ahead and waive, or you want me to bring her back tomorrow?
Roll it, we'll give her one more chance, and then if
Okay.
not.
Kieran Moore, is that correct? Are you Mr. Moore? All right. All right, Mr. Moore, you're charged with burglary of a structure, burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, and fraudulent use of credit cards. I've reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in your case, provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Michael Morrison.
Yes.
Mr. Morrison, you were arrested on warrant for failing to appear. The underlying charges are dealing in stolen property and petty theft, staying the bonds in this case, provisionally appointing the public defender to represent you. Thank you. George Pryor. Mr. Pryor, you're arrested on 3 counts. Warrant, failing to appear. Charges are possession of a controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting an officer without violence. Bonds were set at 0 in those cases. I'm provisionally appointing the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, here's one more case. There's a resisting without violence that he picked up when they were executing the warrant.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I missed that one. All right, having reviewed the affidavit, I do find probable cause. I'm going to set the bond at $100 on that case and provisionally appoint the public defender's office.
Thank you.
Thank
Here
you.
you go.
Ms. Riley? Judine, is it Judine Riley?
That's correct.
All right. All right. Ms. Riley, you were arrested and charged with hit and run, leaving the scene of a crash involving damage to property, and driving while license suspended. Reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in that matter. Provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Additionally, you are on bond on carrying a concealed firearm. Wait, you have another case on top of that one. You're on bond on 2020 CF 1129, carrying a concealed firearm. I'm revoking the bond in that case, setting it at 0. You were also arrested on battery on an officer, firefighter EMT, resisting an officer with violence, battery, resisting an officer, obstructing without violence, obstructing justice, influence or intimidate, hinder a Leo. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I find probable cause. I'm staying the bonds on all that, on all those charges, and provisionally appointing the PD to represent you on all cases. Thank you, ma'am. Carrie Tyrell.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you are charged with failing to report your name or residence change. It was a warrant was issued, no bond was set on that. I'll provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, he's entitled to a bond. It's not a punishable by life or capital offense to file and register.
You're right. I'm just getting tired.
I know.
I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 on that. All right. And you need to register within 24 hours of your release.
Thank you.
Ashley Kersey?
Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am. You were arrested on a warrant for failing to appear. Your underlying charge is petty theft. Your bond's set at $500. I'm provisionally appointing the PD to represent you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I need to push him further that way?
No.
You're good? All right. All right, are you Mr. Angus Belloc?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Black, you were charged with failing to appear. You're arrested on a warrant for failing to appear on a driving while license suspended. Bond in that one was set at $2,500. Additionally, you were arrested on no valid driver's license. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause and stay the bond at the $500. 1 second. And I think that's it for you. I'm provisionally appointing the PD's office to represent you on both cases. All right, thank you, sir.
Can I say something, Judge? May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Is there any way possible that I can resolve this case today? I'll waive my rights to counsel.
I'm sorry, I just read you one. Oh, that's right, this is a different person. You are not charged with no valid driver's license. You're just charged on the warrant. What's his charge again? Let me see. Sorry. Failing to appear, driving while license suspended. No, this isn't one that I can take care of here. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, now let me try this again. Are you Mr. Hodge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Hodge, you're the gentleman who's charged with no valid driver's license. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I do find probable cause.
Got 2 cases for him, Judge?
What? He's got more, yeah. All right, in that case, I'm going to set the bond at $100. You also are out on bond on 2020 CF 789, possession of methamphetamines. In that case, I'm revoking the bond and setting it at 0. And you were also picked up on a resisting an officer without violence. I reviewed the affidavit in that case. I find probable cause. I'll stay the bond on that one at $500, and I provisionally appoint the PD to represent you on all cases.
Your Honor, if I may be heard on the out on bond case, he was arrested on January 18th. No information has been filed to date. So I'd ask that you take no action if the court is so inclined.
No, he's picking up more charges while he's out, so, all right, thank you. He can take it up with that judge.
It's revoked and you can do a bond motion. I told you that this was still guaranteed. I'll send your attorney to come talk to you.
Christina Perea. All right, sir, you're done. Morning, ma'am, or good afternoon. Ma'am, you're charged with driving under the influence. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. Why doesn't she qualify for PTR?
She wasn't interviewed.
So is there a possibility she qualifies if I interview her, if you interview her?
It's about Christina, right?
Yes.
That's not Christina. Christina bonded.
Oh, she bonded?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Probably Small Works does qualify for PTR.
So does that make you Ms. Rollins?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Rollins, you're charged with DUI also. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. No driving without a valid Florida driver's license, and no drinking and driving, okay? I'm going to provisionally appoint the PD to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are you Sierra Taylor? Okay.
Are you Ms. Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Taylor.
Please don't talk.
You're charged with driving under the influence. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. She doesn't qualify for property damage. She doesn't qualify for PTR. So I'll set the bond at $500 in your case and provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you.
Very good.
Are you Ronald Liddell?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, you're charged with trespass on property after warning and resisting an officer without violence. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds in your case, provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you.
Your Honor, what were the bond amounts?
500 and 100.
Those are your bonds. Yep.
Kadeem Wright? Is that you, sir? All right, Mr. Wright, you're charged with trespass on property after warning. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I'm going to set the bond at $250 in this case and provisionally appoint the public defender. I'm aware of the fact he qualifies for pretrial release, but I'm electing to set a bond.
Your Honor, Mr. Wright wishes to resolve his case.
State, you have an offer?
Give me a second, Your Honor. Withhold court costs, no return to scene, Your Honor.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Take a look at that plea form in front of you. This is the worst chair I've ever sat in my life. Whose courtroom is this? They need to order a new chair.
We're
You guys
ready,
ready? All right. All right, let's swear him in, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, sir, state your name and your date of birth.
My name's Kadeem Vaughn Wright, 041492.
All right, sir, you're charged with trespass on property after warning. If you enter a plea to that, there's not going to be a jury trial. You're waiving your right to be presumed innocent until the state proves you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you're not a United States citizen, you run the risk of being deported. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read this plea form and understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you find a factual basis for the plea, having read the probable cause affidavits, defense you stipulating to those facts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, to the charge of trespass on property after warning, how do you plead?
No contest.
All right, I'll accept your plea. I find you alert and intelligent. You understand the nature of the charges against you, the consequences of entering your plea, and the rights you're giving up by entering this plea, and you've been represented by competent counsel. Any legal cause I can't pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, the court's going to withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days. I'm imposing all the mandatory court costs. Within 30 days of your release, you'll need to go to the clerk's office here in Orange County. They'll put you on a payment plan so you can pay back the fines and court costs. I'm ordering you to comply with the terms and conditions of that payment plan. Anything else from defense?
No, Your Honor.
State?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Kelsey Arthur?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Arthur, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant. Violation of probation, no, I'm sorry, out-of-county warrant, leaving the scene of a crash with injuries. Your bond is set at no bond, and it's out of Broward County, Florida. All right, thank you, sir. Albert Banks, sir, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant, failing to appear for charge of grand theft of a motor vehicle out of Osceola County. I'm going to provisionally, your bond's set at $2,000. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir. Deandra Green, is that you, sir?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Green, you are here on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Ma'am?
7 out-of-county warrants, profiting from prostitution, possession of a controlled substance, animal cruelty. Excuse me, Sarasota County. Your bonds have been set at no bond on all of the warrants. Thank you, sir. Letitia Greenwich? No, you are not Letitia Greenwich. I know that. Are you Nicholas Stokes?
I
No.
don't have that person on my list. I don't know if they bonded out or.
I have no idea. They're in my stack. Wait, are you Thaddeus Nobles?
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that's right.
Thaddeus, yeah. I'm reading the wrong name on here.
All right.
I apologize. You're arrested on an out-of-county warrant, sir, for larceny. Warrant is out of Lake County. Your bond has been set at no bond.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Am I supposed to sign that?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the collection.
They're gonna give you a headset.
All right, and are you Nicholas Stokes?
Yes, but one moment.
Can he not hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Too high. Too high. Okay.
Mr. Stokes, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Stokes, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Madison County.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
failing to appear, for failure to leave information on an unattended vehicle. Is that a crime?
It is.
Okay.
It's a type of leaving the scene.
Your bond has been set at $269.10.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right.
That's a crime? Are you serious?
I think it's an M2. It's one of the, yeah.
St. On Tillman?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, you
Great
were arrested.
afternoon to you.
You're arrested on an out-of-county warrant. Out of Lake County.
Yes, ma'am.
Underlying charges of violation of probation on fleeing and eluding.
Yes, ma'am.
And your bond's been set at no bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Are you Mr. Cotto?
He's mental health, y'all.
Okay. Any chance he's going to be out soon, or should I roll in for a couple of days? Because he's been out now. He was rolled from yesterday. I'll roll him to Monday for a last, or do you want to waive?
Go ahead and roll on the Monday since I
Okay, I'll roll to Monday.
Are you Mr. Fountain?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you Marcus Fountain?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Fountain, I got a couple of charges on you. In 19 CF 12490, we have fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. You failed to appear. You've got a warrant for your arrest on that. Resisting an officer without violence and driving while license suspended. Your bonds have been set at no bond on those. This is an Orange County warrant, so I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. And then additionally, you have a violation of probation on fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer, and the bond's been set at no bond on that one. And again, I'll provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. All right, thank you, sir.
What was the name on that one, Your Honor?
Marcus Fountain.
Thank you.
And then the second case is 18 CF 14030.
Thank you.
Victor Whitaker.
He refused, Your Honor.
All right. In that case, he refused last time. I consider that he's waived his initial appearance, his presence at initial appearance. I reviewed the affidavit of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, robbery with a deadly weapon. I find probable, it's a warrant. He's not entitled to a bond on the robbery with a deadly weapon. Is it a firearm? Well, they're both set at no bond. I'm going to leave them set at no bond.
Your Honor, he's entitled to a bond on the aggravated battery, and I believe robbery with a deadly weapon is just a first-degree felony, not punishable by life, like a robbery with a firearm.
He's refused to appear. I have no way of reviewing. It's a warrant. Somebody set those on those. So I'm going to let him go ahead and I'll provisionally appoint the PDs to represent him. They can file a motion in front of the felony judge handling it. Okay? Thanks. I know nothing about him since he's refused to show up. So, Clarence Kaler, Mr. Kaler, I thought I recognized you. All right,
Pleasure.
Mr. Kaler, you're
long
here
time.
on 2 violations of probation. Burglary of a dwelling on both counts and trafficking in the stolen property. Your bond set at no bond. On both cases, I provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure to see you, ma'am.
Michael Cooper?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you're charged with violation of probation, underlying charges, possession of cocaine, resisting a law enforcement officer without violence. Your bonds have been set at no bond on those. I'll provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you. Gregory Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Massey, you're charged with violation of community control. There's a warrant for you, possession of a controlled substance. Bond's been set at no bond. I provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. All right, thank you. Brunel Murtis. All right. All right, sir, let me take these one at a time. In case 2020 CF 3129, you're charged with attempted burglary of a conveyance. I reviewed the affidavit in your case. I find probable cause. I'm staying the bond on that one. In case 2020 3131, burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, I've reviewed the affidavit. In that case, find probable cause, staying the bonds on that. In case 2020-3132, burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, I've reviewed the affidavit, I find probable cause, I'm staying the bonds. Case 2020-3117, burglary of a conveyance, I've reviewed the affidavit, I find probable cause, I'm staying the bond in that case. In case 2020 CF 3106, burglary of a conveyance, probable cause is found, bond is stayed. 2020 CF 3107, burglary of a conveyance, probable cause is found after reviewing, and I'm staying the bond. In 2020 CF 3108, I find probable cause after reviewing the affidavit and staying your bond. In case 19 CF 1950, You're charged with violation of probation. Your bond has been set at no bond. I think that's all of them. 14950 has a bunch of, yeah, they're just duplicates. All right.
The documents are different, so the doc numbers on the property all have different numbers, and they have an INS.
Yeah, you have, let me count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 violations of probation. I'll provisionally appoint a public defender to represent you on all cases. All the VOPs have no bond on them. All right? Thank you, sir. And last but not least, Kevin Ritchie. Mr. Ritchie, how are you?
All right, ma'am. How you doing?
All right, Mr. Ritchie, you were arrested on a warrant. You failed to comply, sex offender conditions, violation of community control. Your bond is set at no bond. I provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, sir.
He has important requirements. He has an important.
I'm sorry?
He has important requirements.
I'm setting him at no bond, but yeah, he has to report within 24 hours of release, not that. Who did Kaler get assigned, what division did Kaler get assigned to?
I'm sorry.
Kaler was the smart aleck who wished me a nice day. All right, folks, that's it. Court's in recess. Thank you very much.
Judge Marquez, I think I might